right, everybody, welcome back to Wrestling with Reality. Hope everybody is doing great. We are stoked to be here. It's been a while. We are super excited to be here. I am John, of course, joining me as always is my partner, Mr. Richie Reardon. Richie, what the f is going on, man?
What's up, buddy? It's good to be back, man. I'm glad we're doing the show tonight. I couldn't be more excited to be here with you guys, man. And yeah, we're through the hard times. I can tell you, brother, it's been a rough road as of late. But as you can see, I'm back in the old studio that we used to shoot in. So we're doing good again. We're back on track. And yeah, man, we're ready to move along here.
Well, we already got a bunch of people in the audience. It's great to fucking see everybody. Let's get to some comments here. Sean is here. He says,
Hey, yo.
What's going on, Chico? He says the band is back together. What is going on there, fellas? Dude, good day to see you. Blackjack is here. Greetings. Good day from
Good day, mate.
Queensland, Australia. Sean's always excited to see Blackjack, too. Jeremy's here. Laza, happy to see you on, brother. Good day from Laza. Let's see. Good day, Jeremy. The band is back together. WWR for life. It's in the house. Four Horsemen for life. Yes, sir, for Mongo, man. Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about that in just a minute. We'll get into Mongo in just a couple minutes because, fortunately, we lost a legend today with the great Steve Mongo McMichael. Jason Krantz is here. Let's rock this bit tonight. I'm fired up and sad at the same time. Yeah, Jason's a big-time he's a big-time Bears fan, a big-time Mongo fan. We were chatting on with him earlier. I was chatting with him earlier about it. And, I made that tribute just for Mongo and for Jason because I knew what a big Bears fan he was, and I wanted to put something together. That's why we were a couple minutes late start because we cannot not pay homage tonight to the great Mongo.
What's up, Sean?
Sean. And Christmas came early. Yes, Christmas did come early. We are here. Oh, boy.
Rewind!
It's like when the GOAT Taz comes back for his broken neck in 96.
So good to see you,
Just
everyone.
awesome. Paul Simpson. Paul, what's going on, my friend? Great to see you out tonight. Everybody, it's great to have you back. We're stoked to be here. Man, it's been a long time. So I think last time I did a show was in like November, and I know you in September you had to take some time off for some stuff you'll talk about in a second. You know, we don't like to leave people hanging and anything like that, but life gets really busy sometimes, and this is just a fun thing that we do, and it's a passion. But you know, I told you, we didn't forget y'all. We're never going anywhere permanently. You know, sometimes people just need a little bit of a break sometimes and to focus on some stuff. And I am not a one-man show. I don't like doing it by myself. So when Richie needed some time off, you know, I did it a few times. And then, you know, life got real busy for me too. And, you know, I started a new business last year. I opened up a new business and it took off really big for me. So I had to focus a lot of time on it. So that's why I didn't really do anything solo after November. I wanted Richie to, you know, be able to get feeling good again. And same thing for me. It was just I had so much going on with work and business stuff, and I got really lucky and really blessed. And I'm definitely not complaining about it. It just turned out too fast, and I had to focus on some business stuff. And now that I'm in line, I just got back from vacation. Me and Richie have been talking about it for weeks now. We've been planning on this for a couple months, actually. You know, we were just kind of sorting out a date, and I wanted to wait till I got back from a nice long vacation. And here we are, man. So that's a little bit of the background why we took a little bit of a hiatus. And, you know, I'm going to say this right now. We're going to do it a little bit more and more, you know, throughout the year. We always kind of take some time off for vacation in the summer, but we're going to kind of do the show in seasons, so to speak, where we might take a couple weeks off here and there, you know, maybe 2-3 weeks, maybe a little bit longer sometimes. We're never going anywhere permanently. It's just we need refreshing time, you know, to get refreshed and recharged. And, you know, we got busy lives, too. Both Richie and I have full-time jobs and businesses that we do on our own. So work becomes a lot, and we both got families, things to take care of. So we're never leaving you guys, and I really appreciate all the messages, the texts, all the good stuff from the great group, and we kept in touch with just about everybody for the most part, and we're never going anywhere permanently, guys. Sometimes we just need a little bit of a break, so just know when we take them in the future a little bit here and there, we're never going anywhere. It's just taking a little bit of time for everybody, focusing on stuff. Life gets busy. This is a passion thing for us and a fun thing that we do. It's not for money. It's not for fame. It's not for anything like that. You want that, go see the pros, man. This is just for the fans and for us and to have a good time each week. So that's my part on it. Richie, anything you want to say, my brother?
Yeah, man, I just want to say that it's humbling to see you guys coming back and us doing this again. I'm so happy to be here. It makes me happy to get back to doing this show, man. It was an important thing for us each week. We always said it was our favorite thing to do, and it still is. And I don't want anybody to think that we didn't want to do it. We definitely did. I had a lot of stuff hit me really quickly. Some of you know, me and my wife, we were having some problems. We definitely straightened that stuff out. Not to get too personal. I also, right after that, my sister-in-law unfortunately had committed suicide. So, that was a big deal and stuff. So I had to step away and do some personal healing and things like that, and take care of my family, get things straightened out. And I've done that now. So I appreciate you all, standing by the show and coming back and watching and tuning in. And yeah, we're back, man. I'm glad to be back. And I just want to say, check on your loved ones, check on each other and stuff. Mental health is super important. We use this to be therapeutic and stuff and have fun and we all have good laughs and stuff like that. But if any of you are having problems at all, you know how to reach out and stuff like that. Reach out if you feel comfortable talking to John, me, whatever. Don't ever hold things in to where it's too late or you think you're backed into a corner or something. I just wanted to put that message out to each of you guys that come out and watch the show, because mental health is important, man. If it's one thing I've learned through this journey of what we've been healing from, check on your loved ones, check on your friends.
Absolutely, man. It's very important what you just said. Very important to focus on that. And it was never my place to say it when Richie was going through that, so I would never disclose that stuff to anybody. Like we're like everybody else, man. We have ebbs and flows in life sometimes, and I'll never disclose anything. And what Richie was going through, it was none of my place to. He's my best friend, and we talk about everything and we work through it together. And you guys help us, like we hopefully help you work through some stuff in life, because we all go through it at times.
Absolutely.
And we're here to have fun and have a good time. And I'm glad you're doing better now, man. And I know it was a tough time with your with your sister and everything, and I'm glad everything got sorted out. It got straight, man. That's what it's all about. Absolutely. And it's good to have you guys. You guys are always a great group of people, and we sure do care about each and every one of you, and thank you for everything. So let's get into some fun though tonight, because we're going to talk about WrestleMania. We're going to talk about all that good stuff, and we'll get into that after. But I want to talk about Mongo first. But let me get to a couple comments. Sean's excited, hopefully, to hear some stories from Rewind later. I think we all are. I have missed Rewind and hearing his stories. Loran says Rewind is here. Woot woot. Jason says John was living it up in Bangkok. I sure was, man. Thailand, I'll say this. I just got back from Thailand, and if you folks ever want to go to Asia, I know your spots and everywhere. I'm a world traveler. I do it every year, a couple times a year. And Thailand does not disappoint. Me and my lovely girlfriend had an amazing time out there. And if you ever want to go check out a cool place, go have fun out there. But I tell you, it is a land of debauchery, and it is a land debauchery. It puts Vegas to shame, bro.
That's awesome, dude.
It does.
I've been to Vegas a lot, so
I sent you guys in the chat a couple of videos of some stuff. I'm not a drinker, so I don't really drink much. But that night when I was down on, it was a fucking wild experience.
Frank the Tank coming out of you.
Frank the Tank came out and then some. So definitely living it up in Bangkok, Jason. We had a blast out there. Check out Thailand if you folks ever get a chance to go. It's an amazing country. Loran says, Rewind, how is the pleasure and pain fetish stuff going? I think we're going to hear about that later. Rewind says it's a perfect date right after WrestleMania. You got it. Jason says Richie, the HVAC king. Guys are sending their shout outs. Sean says we're here for you, Richie. Jason says the same. We fucking love you, Richie. You're all family to us.
Appreciate
Rewind
that,
said, well said. Lorraine's thoughts and prayers with you, Richie. Jeremy, I agree with that 100%. None of us are bulletproof from the troubles of life. We can't fight this alone.
Absolutely.
Jude says, I don't know. I saw some shit last week, brother. I know, Jude. We're interested to hear your stories. Jude got an opportunity to go to WrestleMania this last week, spent the week in Vegas. He sent us some cool shit that we were seeing along the way, and he's had an awesome time. I'm not going to speak for him because later on when we open up the show, I really want to hear Jude's live experience. I've never been to a WrestleMania live or a pay-per-view. It's on my bucket list. I've been to every other show. I know you've been to them all too. You've been to a bunch of them. So I can't wait to hear Jude's stories from WrestleMania. But before we get into WrestleMania, let's talk about Mongo for a second. Unfortunately, we lost the great Steve Mongo McMichael today. And, wrestling fans through the years sometimes don't give Mongo the love that he deserves. And we and you were talking about that off air a little bit
man.
tonight. Let me just say this about Mongo. Mongo is part of the greatest defensive team in the history of professional football. I think it's the 85 Bears, if I recall correctly. It's the 85 Bears. Jason, who's in the chat, he's a native Chicago guy. He's originally from Chicago. He could tell way better than me, and I think Jason's got a few years on me. So I think it was more during his time that he knew that stuff. My dad was a huge fan of the Bears and the Bears defense, and would always tell me the legendary stories of the Bears team and all the great defensive players on there. Mongo, man, what a fucking warrior he was. Just fierce on the gridiron, fierce in life and everything that he did. Mm-hmm. And, then ended up transitioning over to professional wrestling. Think about the stage that they got put on when wrestling fans sometimes will say something about his wrestling skills. This guy got thrown right on the desk.
Dude, he got thrown to the wolves, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
right off the bat to commentary.
The most legendary group in professional wrestling you get stuck in the Four Horsemen, and you're supposed to shine. I mean, you're with
as a commentator first, though, before that,
absolutely.
Richie.
Yeah.
Commentating, I've never done it like that, but it ain't an easy thing. And I think he was on the debut episode of Nitro. I think he was. I think it's when he debuted, if I remember correctly. Yeah. He had that little Chihuahua. I think his name was Pepe or something like that. Mm-hmm. That he had. Carry the Chihuahua around with him. I mean, the guy got thrown to the fucking wolves right off the bat. Put on commentary. Did a really damn good job. Was a good commentator. So and then they throw him in the ring.
Yep.
They throw him in the ring then.
And he didn't do. I mean, he had botches and stuff like that. He was not the greatest 5-star wrestler of all time. Nothing like that. We're not going to pretend that Mongo was the best of all time or anything like that just because he's passed away. There was some laughs and things like that over time. People made compilations and things, that are pretty funny to watch. But Mongo also did pretty well, man, for his little short tenure there in WCW. And I'll be honest with you, man, he got thrown to the wolves. He had to be paired with the likes of Chris Benoit, Jeff Jarrett, all these different guys.
Dean Malenko, Ric
that
Flair,
were years and
Arn
years
Anderson.
ahead of him, you know. And what are you supposed to do at that point? And, I'm going to be honest, he picked it up very well, I thought.
Damn right he did. And if you watch, we've watched it through the years on the show. We've done the Nitro rewatches through the years, and we focused on all the time when Mongo started, all the way to the point he had become in '97 one of the most over characters on the show at certain times, and his wrestling skills improved exponentially. He was put into marquee matches with legends in the ring, not
Bill
only
Goldberg.
on his.
Yeah. That was a pretty cool match,
Yeah, man. I mean, this guy did
2 football players, and didn't he wrestle Kevin Green too? Or
he wrestled Kevin Green. Yeah. I think he wrestled. I think it was Reggie White later on too. Yeah, I mean,
there were some great storylines, and you know what? It brought a lot of eyes onto the product because you had for the not for the first time, but you had a professional football player that was a champion transition over to WCW, and that was a huge thing. It was perfect timing because you had all those different people coming in at the time. Dennis Rodman, Karl Malone. Those are the kind of guys that were transitioning over and was bringing legitimacy to WCW.
Yep. Lorenz says he's done some play-by-play announcing on the job training with local companies so he can relate. It's hard stuff, I'm sure.
It ain't easy, man.
I felt Steve was underestimated. And then you got to keep
people interested in your product.
Yeah, Lorenz said he felt Steve was underestimated in pro wrestling. He was great on the mic and he was decent in the ring. Not too flashy, but decent enough.
He was decent enough, yeah. And if he had more time, I think he could have been a lot better.
Think of it. You think of if he would have actually got an opportunity to go out there and get some time and get some seasoning, a little bit before. I mean, I'm sure he worked out in the power plant, of course, and worked with certain people. But he did damn good for what he was given,
I loved his promos because you know what? He had a touch of Arn Anderson and Ric Flair in his promos. Mixed,
and he had passion and he was energetic and he was fun, He
did.
And he
had the hyperness of Ric Flair and he had those stories that Arn Anderson would hit you with, like your uncle sitting you down to talk,
If anybody's never listened to some of the podcasts that they talk about a little bit about Mongo's like stories of people who hung out with him, they'll tell you the stories that Mongo was a legend of partying and having a great time too.
He was a man's man.
He was a man's man that you could go out with him, and if you went out with Mongo, you were bound to have a damn good time.
You know what? Thank God, his wife that he just had was a saint. She stayed with him till the end. Had him get in the induction ceremony for the Hall of Fame and stuff like that. What a saint she was too. So our thoughts and prayers are with her as well, man. What a good woman she was.
Yeah, he was a U.S. champ, Jew.
He was.
He definitely
U.S. champ and a television champ.
He might have even had a tag run, I think, at some point too. I can't remember offhand. I apologize if I'm wrong, but he definitely had some title runs out there. And like you said, he was in some big time feuds with some big time people.
Yeah.
I mean, people forget, man, when you get, like you said, with the celebrities that came over there. WCW got some great damn people that came over.
Did.
You know, you mentioned Rodman and stuff. Don't sleep on the matchups
the worm,
he had.
Baby.
Yeah, don't sleep on the matchups that Mongo had in the feuds with Kevin Green, Reggie White. Those were big fucking players.
Those were marquee matches, and it brought a lot of eyes to the product on the pay-per-views and stuff. People that wouldn't tune in, usually football fans and stuff like that, would tune in because of those type of matches.
Absolutely, and I never hear anybody say anything bad. He's another guy you never hear anybody say anything bad about. They just tell you the truth about him. The guy had energy, like you said. He was fun.
He could drink like a fish,
and partake in some other things too that we won't mention on the air. Rick, he held his own. If he could hold his own drinking with Ric Flair, that says enough right there.
Absolutely.
He was married to Deborah for a long time, and then married his wife later on. That he was with all the way till his passing today. And let's focus really quick. I don't know how he got invited to be a horseman, Jason. I forget. I think it's when I don't know if it was when he turned on Jarrett or something, but I can't remember. Somebody in the audience helped me out there. So with him, how he got into the horseman.
That was kind of a random thing, if I remember correctly.
If I remember correctly, it was.
I don't think there was any sort of storyline that kind of introduced him into it.
It just kind of happened.
It just kind of happened.
Rick has told stories about his inclusion on there and how much of an asset he was, and what a great pairing that he was for them as well, and how he gave them a lot of legitimacy at that point, because the Horseman name had been very tarnished for a while because he had the guys like Paul Roma in it, and people were kind of sour on the Horseman. And Mongo gave them a lot of legitimacy when he came out. So
it kind of sucked to see him get squashed by Goldberg like he did, I mean, that was pretty much the end for Mongo.
He overcame it and kept around and stayed around for a little bit. I don't think he was there till the end of WCW, but he was there pretty much close to it.
Yeah.
He had a nice run, and then he went on to coaching. Afterwards he did coaching, and then he met his beautiful wife. I know
he was a public speaker for a while too.
Yeah, he met his beautiful wife, had a lovely life with her. From everything it sounded like you said, she seems like a saint. Like just an amazing woman, an amazing person.
To stay with a man going through that kind of stuff and just being there hand and foot. I mean,
love him, care for him,
to him every moment of his life. There,
doted on him like he was her king.
If you watch the documentary that I saw, man, it'll bring tears to a glass eye. That was just
man,
beautiful.
I totally agree, man. Jeremy says, I think before he came to WCW, he was in LT's corner at WrestleMania when he faced Bam Bam. You're absolutely right about that, Jeremy. He was. That was his first thing that was his first forte into professional wrestling was that right there. So, for instance, I agree. I think if Mongo got experience, he definitely could have been better.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah, Jeremy says he was a U.S. champ. Yep. Rand, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Rand?
Good to see you, buddy.
Rewind says, I think he beat Double J for the belt. Yeah, he
did.
The turn on Kevin Green that Sean mentioned was great when he did that, man. He got a lot of heat for that shit. And he'd always carry that Halliburton briefcase around.
That was awesome. And then one day it opened up on accident on TV and it was empty.
There's a great bump that he took. Like, it was just a complete bot shot. And he takes the goofiest, funny, but it's hilarious. I guarantee you guys you'll find it if you look it up. And he takes this bump. I think it might have been Jarrett that nailed him with it or somebody like that. He turned on him and he got nailed with the bump. And he just played like he was dead. They crack him with it, and he goes like rigor mortis and just plops back and rolls over. It just Mongo was awesome, man. And we're not just saying that because we've been putting Mongo over for years on the show.
Sure.
And the fight that he had, Dennis Rodman, Kurt Hennig live, boy, that must have been a match.
Heck yeah, man.
He turned on Kevin Green when they tagged against Arn and Flair. There you go. That's the turn right there. Thanks, Jeremy. Yep, that's the turn right there when he turned on him. That's what got him in with them. Rand says Arn Anderson and Ric Flair brought him in with Jeff. Yeah. I'm sure he'll probably go in the Hall of Fame one day at some point, Jason.
It's good possibility.
You never know what WWE who they're going to put in, so definitely. I'm so glad that he got an opportunity to go into the Hall of Fame while he was alive.
Absolutely. That was his big thing, man. And when you saw him here, that he made it into the Hall of Fame, you could see a breath of life just be, put into him. So it was amazing.
Yeah, it was really awesome to see, man, and I'm glad he got it. In the video montage I made, you saw his wife, with his statue for the Hall of Fame, just kissing it and loving it, and just knowing how much it meant to her husband, and then when you saw the great players, I think it was Walter Payton that called him, I think it was, to let him know that he was going in, and the love and the admiration that they had for him as one of their teammates and as one of their peers in the professional football world. I mean, if you're not a football fan, or even if you are, if you don't know that fucking team that he was on with the Bears, like, go watch just the destruction that guys like Mongo put on people.
That was a lot of the reason, for his demise, is because he played so hard too. So
yeah,
it's unfortunately that disease that he had, it's from concussions and different things that kind of pile up over time for athletes and things like that. So
yeah, 100%. Well, rest in peace to Mongo, and he sure lived a hell of a life, and did a lot of good in it, from what it sounds like. Very well respected person, and fought that awful disease of ALS 100%, man. He fought that shit just till the end. I mean, he just went into hospice, I think it was today, and and passed away, at that point. So Jared Payton, Sean says, thanks, Jared. Appreciate
Jared Payton. Yeah.
Because Walter was his teammate on the
Walter had passed away. Yeah.
ALS does fucking suck, Jason. It's terrible just that there's no cure for it. I hope someday somebody could find something, and what it does to people that are so strong and powerful.
It's from a lot of impacts, a lot of concussions, just brutal on the body. It's horrible, man. A lot of athletes suffer from it, and that's what ends up happening. So
yeah, I saw my sister suffer. My sister had MS really, really bad, and she suffered till the day that she passed away. And it's not to the extent of ALS, but I would see it, and it broke my heart every day. When I would see her, just her body, she couldn't do the things.
Deteriorates.
And ALS just attacks it so rapidly.
Think of a guy like Mongo. He's been a Super Bowl champion, for crying out loud, weightlifter, all kinds of stuff like that. And to go through that, you got to imagine the depression and stuff, and the strength that it would take to continue on going through something like that.
And the positivity that people said that knew him so well, the
even when he was speaking through a machine, he was still joking until the end. I mean,
and people give Ric Flair a lot of flack. We do on the show sometimes because of the shit that he does and the stunts that he does. Sure. But Rick was so loyal to him and the things that he did. He would go out and visit him all the time and check on him and see how he was doing. He was a good friend to him too. And, I know that probably meant a lot to Mongo to see one of his old buddies like that. And Rick just loved Mongo. I've heard so many stories that he's told about him through the years. And, he was a damn good friend to him. And, people can say what they want about people, but you see the true test of somebody's character as a friend too, when somebody's going through some rough shit in their life. It's all gravy when everything's good in our lives, but when shit goes wrong, and you see who your real friends are. And Mongo saw a lot of his real friends, I'm sure, because that's what the type of guy that he was, and that's the legacy 100%. And the impact I think that he makes, not just as a football player or a wrestler. It's the impact that he had on
as a human being.
Yeah. And God bless him, and God bless his family. And I really hope and pray that they're at peace now, and I know he's at peace in heaven. I'm a Christian and a believer. For those who aren't, I understand, but for my beliefs, and I know Richie's too, is that a guy like him, he's going up in heaven. So
for sure,
I hurts to think about losing a legend like that. But rest in peace to Mongo McMichael, and I just want to touch on it for a few minutes to open up the show. What's going on, Derek? Good to see you, Derek. A lot of us my age grew up on the Nitro version of the Horseman, Flair, Arn, Benoit, and Mongo. Yep, rest in peace, legend. Lorenz says, I give Rick credit for his loyalty. 100%, man.
Absolutely, man.
Well, let's get into the topic of tonight. The topic of tonight is going to be WrestleMania 41. So I'm going to throw this out here right now. As I did not get an opportunity to watch every match. I was overseas. I did catch night 2, so I caught almost all of night 2. I caught all the clips. I went back and rewatched one of the matches from night 1 because I wanted to see it. It was the main event. Overall, though, we want to hear you guys' thoughts, what you thought of the show. So chime in the comments at the end of the show. I'll put a link out if you guys want to come on. We'll take a few calls and let you guys come on at the end of the show for a few minutes. But you watched both nights. You guys were live chatting when it was 7 o'clock in the morning, and where I was at, you guys were having a blast talking about it, good, bad, and different. Sean mentions the Hall of Fame. Let's talk about that.
The Hall of Fame was it's one of the best ones they've had in a while, in my opinion. I love the Hall of Fame.
They did good, but the thing that I want to cover about the Hall of Fame before we start about the main show, they did good. I didn't think it was one of the best ones they had. I thought they did good. A lot of people liked it. Some people didn't. And I get where you're coming from, Sean, because they fucking put it on way too late, first off.
Well, yeah, that's a given, yeah, for sure.
What did it start
I
at, like
stream
1 o'clock in the morning?
1 o'clock in the morning, and I stream it, so I didn't even notice that because I wouldn't even watch it at that time anyways live.
And you're on West Coast time, though, you
absolutely,
know. So for East Coast people, like that's 1 o'clock in the morning start time, and it went to almost 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, you gotta be.
People are at work and all kinds of stuff like that. Like, come on, WWE.
Yeah,
let's get our shit together.
You gotta be a fucking diehard if you're on the East Coast and you're staying up for that. Only reason I caught it was because it was afternoon time for me where I was at that moment. So it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon when it started. So I
gotta just point something out about the Hall of Fame, and I don't know if people caught it. I know Jude did because me and him we were talking about it. But how funny was it when Undertaker was inducting his wife, and he goes, "They didn't have no last name to come in on," and then they pan over to Natalia.
Yeah. Daniel, my buddy, sent that over to me because he knows I hate Natalia. And he goes, "Did you write the script for the Hall of Fame tonight?" When they pan the camera over, because my
over
nickname
to Natalia.
my nickname for her, for anybody that's been following the show for a long time, is Nothing Happened in Natty. You know, dude, when they fucking panned to her, it was like I
about pissed my pants, dude.
It's like that Chris Pratt gif from I think it was from The Office or Parks and Rec, whatever the show was that he was on, where he's like, that big smile on his face. When they fucking panned over to Natty when they were talking to him from the Undertaker speech, I was like, I just got quiet and just started laughing my ass off. And my girlfriend was like, "What's so funny?" I was like, "It's too hard to explain." You know,
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. A lot of the stuff I agreed with what the Undertaker said, but there was a lot of that stuff that I was like, "Okay, you're stretching here a little bit. Come on."
Dude, I'll say this right here. When he said that there wouldn't be a ladies division, you know, like I know
women's revolution
if it wasn't for Michelle McCool, fuck you, get the fuck out of here, man.
We'll give you your flowers for your career, and it spilled over enough for us to recognize your wife. But good grief, man,
that fuck didn't deserve to go in for 10 seconds. She's a no talent fucking clown for women, you know. Like decent worker.
She was decent, you know. It wasn't a no talent.
I didn't find any fucking talent with her. There was nothing that differentiated her. The highlight of her career was the Piggy James shit that she did with her and Lay Cool, and they split the title in half. She was the shits. She was a champion during a shit time. Yeah, and she was the shits.
It was very forgetful. It did not spark anything for the women's revolution ever.
Nothing. Not a fucking thing. How many kids growing up said, I want to
be like Michelle McCool when I grow up.
I want to be like Michelle McCool. Shut up. No.
Even her name, I'm sorry, but Michelle McCool, come on.
And I'm sure she's a nice person. We're just talking about the the wrestling.
To tame a guy like that, I mean, come on.
Sure.
You gotta be a trooper, but
all the respect to Taker, for his amazing career and just the professional guy that he is.
But the speech that he gave, I'm sitting there like, God, I love you, Taker, but Jesus Christ.
She got like 35 fucking minutes too with his thing, and fucking Lex Luger, man, who legitimately deserves to go in and gets about fucking 10 with him and DDP talking. I don't know if that was his choice.
Man. How'd you feel about Lex Luger and all that, his speech and DDP and all that stuff? Did you think it was good?
I thought it was good. It was short, sweet, and it was to the point. I would have liked to hear maybe a little bit more from him, but it's not my place to say what to talk about. I know they give him time, cues and stuff like that. Like they try to keep him on time. I thought it was a good speech. I really did. DDP is always great, man. What a salt of the earth, dude. Diamond Dallas Page is.
I've always said if there was a Hall of Fame for human beings, he'd be number one. So
yeah,
love DDP, man.
Jude, did you go to the Hall of Fame when you were there, or did you check that out? Because I knew you went to night 1 and night 2, but did you check that out? Let us know in the comments. I don't know if you got a chance to go to that or not. Because if you went to that, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Yeah, Derek, we'll get into the WrestleMania in just a second, buddy. So we'll get right there. Jude says, "Dead dude." LOL. Right when with the Natalia thing. Well, Rance didn't bother watching it. Jeremy says he made it till 2 o'clock in the morning for the Hall of Fame. You're a trooper, because there's no way I would have been up that late on the East Coast watching it. Did you also see Tyson Kidd catch the camera and looked at Natty, and they looked away like a dude getting caught looking at the other woman?
Dude, it was priceless. It was one of the best moments of the night. The other moment that I loved was following night. Yeah, for sure. The following night, Bret Hart sitting there.
The best.
Triple H went to shake his hand. He's just like, "Oh, here we go."
If you guys didn't see that when they were announcing them, for the Hall of Famers that they do,
he still hates Triple H, man.
Oh my God, he can't, and he's buried him through the years. And Lex wasn't there, so I'll say the reason Lex wasn't there. He mentioned it on a show was he was so physically exhausted with his body from the week that he said he was feeling awful and he just couldn't go. And understandable with Lex.
He went to the important part. I mean, come on.
Absolutely, he went to the induction. But the Bret Hart thing, when Triple H comes around shaking everybody, go look up to them if you didn't see it. Somebody gets a close up of it. You got to love the internet sometimes. Somebody pans right into his face, and the look after he shakes his thing.
The disgust, man.
His eyes bug out, and he's like,
"Yeah, he was not liking it,
dude. He doesn't like him at all.
He's sitting there thinking, boy, my wrestling career ends with me shaking Triple H's fucking hand at the Hall of Fame ceremony."
Seriously,
what an ending!
Is he the first 3-time inductee? I think.
I believe so. Yeah. X-Pac's going to be one too. I believe.
He might be one day. I don't. He's got 2. There's several of them.
He's got 2, and then he's going to go in by himself. I guarantee it.
Well, he went in, I think, by himself and with he went in with the NWO.
With DX, and he went in with
DX and NWO. Yeah, maybe he does go by himself. I don't.
He's got to. I mean, if Michelle McCool's fucking in there by herself, X-Pac's got to go in by himself.
If fucking Coco Beware's in the Hall of Fame, and you got guys like Sid Vicious that aren't in it, and stuff, and even the natural disasters, like I like that they went in. Like Rand says, he takes his hat off to them for putting them in. They just re-signed the Legends deal with Demolition. I would have put Demolition in over them this year.
Demolition, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Jason says it was really fucking lame. WWE lets idiots like Travis Scott ruin a story. Dirty Dom, bright spot. Yeah, we'll get to all that in just a second. Jason, we'll get to that. Jason
said, good points, though.
She is Taker's cum rag. That's why she got in.
Jesus. Ooh, family friendly here. Family.
Jason, if you don't know, he's never one to mince his words, which is I respect.
That's why we love him.
Yeah. Everybody's got a free platform to say what you want. As long as it's not racist or bigoted here, you can say what you want. I respect us.
We're not the restraints of the radio anymore, so say what you want. No, sir.
We are not. We are here, and it's have at it. As long as nobody ever says anything racist or bigoted, then it's fine. And we'll be cool. It's okay. Jason's a fucking riot, man. He's got one of the best social medias too. The shit he posts, I just gotta say, it's pretty fucking hilarious stuff. So, McCool must give the Undertaker good head for that much praise. Maybe they've been married for a long time now. Absolutely. Sean says he paid for the Hall of Fame. He might have given his polite one to go get her in. Rand says
that was the deal of him coming back last year to choke slam The Rock.
Yeah. DDPs say tons of wrestlers. Jude was there. All right.
Nice.
So, yeah. I'll get the rewinds in a second. Lex was good. Lex was good to see going. I don't think there was anybody that was disappointed to see Lex. And another guy that it's just an amazing story, salt of the earth, turned his life around, man. Gotta love Lex Luger. And what a humble guy, and I'm really, really happy for him on that.
I hope a lot of people have forgiveness in their heart for Lex Luger for the things that he's gone through too. I mean, there's been a lot of people like Eric Bischoff over the years that have said a lot of bad things about him, and I hope they give him a chance, man.
Eric is like, he's one of Eric's best friends now, actually.
Is he? Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Eric was very upset through the years with the stuff that happened with Liz, and I think it was Conrad that got them to talk, if I remember correctly.
That's awesome, man.
And when he got announced for the Hall of Fame, the first podcast that he did was Eric Bischoff's. He went right on it that night.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and they're like really, really good friends now, and Eric just talks about the great guy that he is and he's become and how different he is as a human being, and just
so cool.
Tells everybody if you want to punish this guy for things that he did years ago, then you might want to change your mind, because this is a guy that really turned it around for himself. Yeah, the irony.
Replaced Mickey James on that show?
Yes, sir.
Wait, why? Did they give a reason?
I have no idea, but she did. And
I just started watching that.
Yeah. I haven't seen the show, so I'll have to check it out. But
it's a good show, man.
Okay, it's not. Is it better than Tough Enough?
I'd say it's better than Tough Enough. I like the parts with Bubba Ray and the Undertaker. Those are my, I love. That's why I like the show. To be honest with you, I think it's cool. There's enough drama in it that keeps you attached to it. So yeah, I like it.
I'll definitely have to check it out. But the irony of her going on to take over for Mickey James and her husband. Never say there's nepotism that doesn't go on.
I don't know why they did that. Mickey James did great.
Mickey James is a phenomenal performer and everything, and I don't think Michelle McCool could lace her fucking shoes. So that's my opinion. Maybe some people disagree.
Well, and that's going to tame the Undertaker too. I mean, his character, he was kind of letting loose a little bit in the episodes that I saw. So, to have her around now, it's going to water it down. That sucks.
Yeah, Lorraine says, I love Bret Hart's reaction after shaking Triple H's hand. Rewind's got a typical rewind. I had to save this one for a second. He says, good point, John. How is Michelle in the Hall of Fame and the great women wrestlers like Nicole Bass are not in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, Jesus Christ. You never disappoint.
He's the best.
He always comes in with the zingers, man.
Oh, Jude says, if you want to know how great Bret is, just ask him. He'll absolutely tell you.
Right. And fuck Bill Goldberg.
I will never get over Gunther coming out. I think it was on the opening of Netflix this year.
One of the best moments of the year.
It's one of my favorite moments in wrestling history, to be honest with you. And just Bret's look, because they fucking punked him, You know they punked him, and he knew nothing about that.
He knew nothing about it.
You used to be my favorite wrestler. But no, you're not my favorite wrestler. My favorite wrestler is Bill Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg, yep. So classic, dude.
God. Derek says, I love looking at the statue of Bret to make sure it was Stone Cold and not Goldberg on it with it.
That would have been a great swerve, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Jude says he thinks he goes in as the 1, 2, 3 kid. Rand says X-Pac. Lorenz says, I wish Cody Rhodes broke Travis Scott's neck with that Crossroads as a receipt for what he did. We'll talk about that Travis Scott dipshit in a little bit. Oh, Charles Robinson better be in the Hall of Fame as a ref one day. 100%.
A lot of those guys better be in there. Is Hebner in there?
I don't think
I know there's bad blood between them, so I don't know if he'll ever go in.
I don't know if any referees are in the Hall of Fame, to be honest with you. I don't think
Hebner's got to be in there. Tim White's got to be in there. I mean, there's a ton of them.
Mike Chioda should be, refs. I don't think there's any of them in there, but if there is, somebody let me know. I mean, those are guys that definitely. Nick Patrick deserves it, in my opinion, too.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Nick go in for his accomplishments. What's that guy? Tommy Young. There's so many great refs. I'm surprised a lot of refs haven't gone in. Bubba has some things to say about Taker and WWE World. It's good stuff. Send me the link if you got it, Jude. I always like to listen to Bubba's shit. Does Teddy how long? Yes, he does have one, Lawrence. He's in there.
He does have one.
Sean says that he is in the Hall of Fame. All right. So
Slick should be in the Hall of Fame too.
The Dr. Style. Slick?
Yeah, Slick should be in there.
Lawrence, we're going to talk about that in a minute because I agree with you, man. That was a great thing from Raw. But let's talk about WrestleMania. I'm not going to break down every match. If there's something that you guys want to talk about a certain match, please let us know and throw your comments in here on the show overall. Whatever it is that you want to say about it as we're going through this. Overall, what did you think of the show, Richie? What was your opinion?
I'm going to be honest with you. WrestleMania was kind of dull. It didn't live up to the hype of the year before. There was a lot of missing stuff and a lot of stuff that didn't make sense, a lot of sloppy moments. The Jade Cargill match, my God, I had to go to the bathroom on that match. I was just like, this is bullshit. I couldn't stay in it to watch it. As you said, I did watch both nights. I think night 2 obviously outshined night 1. Another situation that I don't understand that WWE's doing over and over and over again, and some people like it, in my opinion, I just don't. I think it doesn't make sense, is putting the championship match on first. I understand you need to open up with a hot match and all that stuff, but the championship match has always been and always should be the main event. It's what you work your ass off for. Every wrestler that means something in this business has always said, if you're not in it to be the champion, then I don't know why you're here in the first place. So that should be your marquee match, whether it's night 1, night 2, whatever. That needs to close out the night. So that was one of the biggest things that bothered me at WrestleMania. I felt that the Uso moment should have been at the end of the show.
Yeah. You would have closed it out with that?
Not night 2, night 1 I would have.
Interesting. I agree with them not going on first as that match. So I would agree with that 100%. I did not watch the match at all, so I'm not going to lie and say I watched it. But what do you think about Gunther getting tapped out instead of beaten? Did you like him getting tapped out by him? Or
I think Gunther should have won. I don't think that dude, this guy, out of everybody in his lineage, I said it to Jude and I said it to you, I think he's gonna screw up. I hate to judge the guy with his mental health issues and stuff like that, but the dude's been in trouble over and over again, DUIs and all this stuff. Like,
he showed up to the press conference fucked up beyond all recognition. I don't know if he was just on drink? Are you just on alcohol and just drinking a lot?
To act like that when you're the champ, I get it. You know, Ric Flair was a partier and stuff like that, and would have great interviews and stuff when he was partying. But this guy couldn't even put together a sentence. He was so out of it, you know. And you have a certain responsibility, not to be a goody two shoes or whatever. You have a certain responsibility and a respect you should have for that title. Don't act like an idiot like that. You know, wait till afterwards and do your partying and celebration and stuff like that. I get it's your moment and stuff, but that just looked like the worst, most irresponsible interview I've ever seen from a champion.
Dumb as shit.
Dumb as shit.
I would have kept
your work. This is your work of art that you do, that you worked your whole life for, and that's what you go out there and do and represent your family that's been in the business forever.
It's like you want to say you can't wait. I mean, it's like 3.5 hours from 3 hours in the time you get off. You go right on the press conference.
How much alcohol could he have consumed in that amount of time?
That's why I think it was something more than that, bro.
Like, I mean, God, I know, John, that you can't finish your beers when you chug, but come on, dude.
I'll kill you one of these days again. I am a lightweight with drinking because I don't drink, so I'm not gonna lie and say I'm a good drinker. No way. To me, it's like, be a professional, man. You know, don't get out there and act like a fucking goof. Like, you want to go party afterwards and celebrate, man? Go rock it out all night long.
You want to be fired up to do a great interview and stuff like that, and whatever, great. But that, like, to jumble over your sentences and be a slobbering idiot, like,
it's like you couldn't go, and wait those few hours. You're in fucking Vegas, which is a permanent party there. Go party afterwards, man.
Yeah.
Have some respect, man.
You're the champion of a multi-billion-dollar company.
Seriously,
you act like an idiot.
Jason says, the post-match was fucking embarrassing. It was,
dude. I guarantee you, he's going to get the title taken away from him. He really will.
He's going to be a transitional champ for a few months at the most, in my opinion. If he goes on longer than that, if he can make it to SummerSlam, I'd be surprised. Right. Jude brings up a good point. He was there too, so he said the reaction from the crowd was really bad. And he's been really over in some of the audiences. He's been one of their most over guys, and I'm not saying he's not, but to me,
I just don't think he's a guy that you can carry the company on. Gunther is. Gunther, if you look at him from the time he was Walter to Gunther, the transition that man has made with his weight and how much care he has put into developing his character and his body and looking better on TV.
His promo skills are fantastic too.
He was already a great worker. Now his promos, how great they are. That guy can carry the company.
Absolutely. You strap a rock, and he's a killer. And he's believable.
And you have him tap out
to Jey Uso
in the opening match of Mania. Like, come on.
We'll talk about the Raw after in a bit. I do like how they use that to set up what they did on Raw and everything, but we'll get into that afterwards for that. But I don't know. I mean, he's going to be a transitional champ in my opinion.
It's a fart in the wind. It'll be like Kofi Mania.
Yeah, it'll be over very soon, folks. So for those of you that aren't a big fan of it, by all means, there you go. I have no reason to want to talk about it.
If you did like it, good for you. I think that it was to put that much steam behind that match and it be what it was at the end of it. It was like, okay.
I don't think there's any reason to talk about the New Day versus the War Raiders. That was fucking garbage to even put that on the card, to be honest with you. Who gives a shit?
I like the War Raiders.
I could give a shit less about either one of them, I do like heel Kofi being a little bit funny, but I don't even want to talk about
Xavier's garbage.
Yeah, I would agree.
I've never liked him.
Yeah, Kofi can be funny as a heel, but I could give a shit less about that. If you guys like that match, great. Not for me. Not something I wanted to go watch and see. For the clips, I saw clips of everything, but the clips I saw, it was like you said, it's like a fart in the wind. It's fucking done. Who cares? Jade and Naomi, Jude brought a good point up earlier. People were saying that that's her best match she's ever had. And that's saying a lot because that's not saying much because that shit stunk from what I saw. And
there were so many botches in that match. I'm like,
she almost killed fucking Naomi on one of them.
Oh yeah.
So, hey, whatever. Jade won on to bigger and better things.
It was basically a retelling of the Mickie James Trish Stratus story. I mean, that's what it felt like.
Jacob Fatu, LA Knight was next. I didn't watch the match, just watched clips of it too. I love Jacob Fatu. Strap a rocket to this guy and make him a main eventer real soon. He's a main eventer all day long, in my opinion. What do you think about Jacob Fatu?
Love Jacob Fatu. I think they made the right decision in putting him over, putting a singles title on him. Like you said, strap a rocket to him. He's going to be a great threat and a great heel. I don't think you can make that guy a face anytime soon. you keep him the way he is, you make him a monster, and you keep having him tear people, limb from limb. I hear Rusev's coming back. I would love to see Rusev.
He came back on Monday.
Okay, I didn't watch Raw, so
yeah.
Rusev versus him would be a great program down the road. I'd love to see that.
Derek says, let Braun Breaker dethrone Jay ASAP. Derek, I think it's going to come this year. I think it's going to come some point this year, next year at the latest. But Braun
Breaker.
Problem
is WWE. They need to learn that key phrase that Jude always likes to say, the slow burn. They need to bring the slow burn back, and then they just blow their load too fast.
Dude walking down the street in Vegas, buzzed off the secondhand devil's lettuce. It's a great word for that. Cena's post-match interview was gold. It was on the presser. I do like that. We'll talk about Cena afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeet is pronounced.
I got a lot to say about Cena. So,
Lorraine says, one of my complaints, had discussion with someone on Facebook over it, is how WWE should have world titles. Lawrence agrees with you right there. Unless it's something like they kind of devalued. They even did it with Gunther for most of his reign. They didn't put him on a lot of the bigger pay-per-views or other pay-per-views. And when they did, it's your world title, man. Do something better with it,
Yeah.
Derek had mentioned earlier that the night one was the best part was the main event, and the undercard kind of stunk. And then it was on night two, the undercard was really good, and the main event stunk, which I agree with his opinion on that.
Yeah. I mean, that belt is shaped like the WCW title, the NWA title. For Christ's sake, put some respect on it.
Rewind says Jay deserves it more than anyone on that roster. He worked his ass off for 10 years. He was one of the biggest reasons I watch it. All right,
I'm glad. Hey, I'm glad, and I'm not saying that he hasn't worked his ass off and stuff like that. And I do believe that he does deserve to win it. But the thing is, man, he's got to carry the company. He's got to take that role on as a locker room leader. When you're a champion like that, you have to take that role on and kind of be responsible. Don't go out there and look like a damn idiot like that and show the rest of the locker room that, when you're the top guy, hey, you can be an idiot and not get in trouble. I just think that was ridiculous.
Jay should have beat Gunther by pinfall or submission with the win over him, where Gunther tapped out so quick was stupid. All right. Rewind's not a fan of Gunther. Can't stand him. Sean, we'll talk about the purchasing of AAA in just a little bit, too. That's a big thing that came out. Lorenz says, I understand why Jay won, as he's over with the Eat stuff at the moment, but long-term, who's a bigger draw? Myself, I think it's Gunther. Yep. Jay is a transitional champion, Rand says, to Sammy, to Gunther, to the old guy, back to Roman, to CM Punk by SummerSlam, so we get Cena versus Punk there. Okay. The New Day War Raiders made the main event card, but the SmackDown tag TLC got bumped to SmackDown next week as BS, what Derek said. And that match would have been a lot more entertaining, I think, than the New Day match, too. Jason says Xavier Woods pounding the shit out of that pale white wrestler in a porn video is the only cool thing that he's done.
Whoa.
Oh, I love it. Oh, Lawrence liked him as Consequences Creed and TNA. Rewind's not a fan of LA Knight. I don't get it. He's the poor man's Rock. A lot of people have said that, too.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that.
Lawrence says, I hope they don't turn it into a Mexican soap opera with AAA.
They will.
Yeah, they will. It's going to happen. Jay will have a Damian Priest level title run. Very good point. That's how I would kind of think it's going to be, too, Jude.
Part in the win.
Yep. People will say, "Oh, they were world champ," but I don't think they'll ever get back there again. I actually bought the world title while I was there. Jude said,
"Nice, dude.
Jude, why don't you get that $3,500 Cody one that was out there? That was the autographed Cody one they had as a replica for $3,500.
I'm glad you didn't spend $3,500 on that.
A fucking belt from Cody Rhodes, man. Oh, all right. Moving on for the rest of the card here for night one. Your favorite, you love this guy. You said he's going to be a Hall of Famer and a legend. El Grande Americano.
Absolutely.
From the Gulf of America.
Oh my God. What a great name that is. Good grief. This guy, the character development, the storyline, it gets you just jacked, man. Americano's my boy.
I love that they included the Gulf of America in it.
I love that they fucking stuffed the thing in the mask, dude. This shit's so funny. Oh my God.
I think this shit is hilarious with him.
Dude, it's hilarious. It's great.
I do.
And then they have the vignettes where it's like telling the history of him and all this stuff. It's perfect.
Dude. I think it's fantastic, man.
Yeah. It pokes at the Donald Trump thing with the Gulf of America. It's perfect. It's hilarious, dude.
You know what fucking chaps my ass about this stuff with El Grande Americano, though? Is these sensitive fucking bitches, that are like, it's insulting to Latinos and
it's racist.
Fuck you.
Yeah, get out of here.
Virtue signaling fucking idiot. Get out of here.
God forbid we have comedy.
Oh my Lord. Are we that fucking sensitive in today's day and age that this is the fucking shit you got to focus on? It's a fucking wrestling show and a character. Get over it. They're not being fucking racist and having them come out like they used to when they would do racist shit, like when they would have the Mexicools coming out on lawnmowers. That's fucking racist right there.
Yeah, those same people say how, brilliant and heroic it is for Nyla Rose to beat up another woman on television and shit.
And you're gonna you're gonna die on this sword about El Grande Americano. Fuck you. Get out of here.
Good.
Stop being a fucking bitch and
I like common sense.
Seriously, put your fucking big boy or big girl pants on and get your diapers off and grow up, man. It's not. You think they want to fucking sacrifice their huge Latino market by being racist and bigoted? No, they're not.
I love Americano, man. They're not going overboard with it. It's not like they're sitting there, showing vignettes of kids locked in cages and shit like that. Come on.
It's wrestling. Have fun with it, guys. All right, please. Just enjoy it. But Rey Fenix got filled in for Rey Mysterio here. What a moment for Rey Fenix. I know he didn't win. Who cares? This guy.
I love Rey Fenix. I
love him. He's one of my favorites.
He's talented. He's the next Rey Mysterio. I mean, he's the next Rey Fenix. To be honest with you, he's not. The dude can stand on his own legacy and stuff like that. He does great. I just hope he stays healthy.
And that's the hard part about what he does. He became more relevant in the 3 weeks that he's been on WWE programming.
And the whole time he's in AEW.
Seriously. Like literally, I know he was hurt a little bit a couple of times here and there, but this guy's been benched for fucking like the last 2 years, basically.
Yep.
One of the best workers they have, one of the most exciting people to watch, and they didn't use this guy. They didn't
had an incredible run in Lucha Underground, too.
Seriously. And then think just later on with Rey Fenix, you're eventually going to get, him and Penta teaming up again,
I hope not. I hope not.
I want to see him.
Penta to have a huge singles run. I hope he's a champion. I want them to stay as far away from the Lucha Bros as they can.
I think they will for a while, but I want to see him do it later on eventually. I'm not saying for a permanent move because these guys are both great as singles and they're getting better as singles. Penta, to me, is the guy with more of an upside than Rey. He's a little bit more believable in his character.
His promos are amazing.
And they're both getting really good in their English. So they're improving on that. Good for them. Good for them. That's all I'm going to say.
Penta is my favorite right now.
I'd pay a hooker, Jude says, before I got that title for $3,500.
Absolutely.
Sean says El Grande's Hulk Hogan. Lawrence likes LA Knight. Reminds him of a throwback to Stunning Steve character. Interesting. Okay. Yeah,
that's a weird comparison there. I never thought of that.
Interesting. I fucking love El Grande Americano.
Absolutely.
As half Mexican and white.
I knew Rewind would get behind that.
Yeah, he says my people mixed race finally have a hero like El Grande Americano.
Thank you, dude. He's following in the footsteps of Taz, bro. He's one of the goats.
He was the best blend of a luchador and American style wrestling. He makes me feel at home. See?
That's
El Grande Americano's touching lives right here, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by this new show that they got coming on too, where they're focusing on the writing and the backstage stuff. I think it's going to be cool too, Lawrence. So just wait till Britt Baker makes her way to WWE.
Oof, I hope not.
I'm not a fan of her. Are you?
I'm good. I'm good on that.
She'll go though. She's definitely going to go too. But
I don't think the women's division needs her.
I don't think so either. I think she's highly overrated. That's just me. I've never her mic skills.
You got a little fucking claw to put in her mouth as her finisher.
Yeah,
come on,
fucking just you fish hooking people for your finisher.
Yeah.
All right,
that's awesome.
On. Lawrence was a fan of the Wraith match. The stuff was stupid that El Vikingo didn't try and stop Americano. Good point on that.
I thought that too. They made a big deal about Vikingo and they didn't do anything with him.
I saw him in AEW a few times, man. That motherfucker can go.
Penta's Chad Gable. Dude, that'd be funny.
Wouldn't it if they played it up somehow that that really was? I don't know how they're going to do this. I think it's going to be good that they're going to do it for a while. So El Grande reveals that he's really Donald Trump.
Who was that wrestler that was supposed to be like the next big thing when he was a Mexican wrestler that came across and then they ended up having to replace him? You know who I'm talking about? It was a gold mask.
Oh, Sin Cara.
Sin Cara. Yeah.
That guy was the shit, man.
Penta or Americano under the mask of Sin Cara.
Lawrence, I wanted them to bring there was rumors Donald was going to be there. Like, I wanted them to have Donald come out at some point, and then all I wanted to see
Americano.
No, I wanted to see fucking Randy Orton, like the mystery opponent thing, and Donald Trump's in the ring, and then you hit Randy Orton's music, and he fucking RKO's the president. Like, how awesome would that have been? Like,
that would have been
and
funny.
you know, Donald would have done it too if they would have asked him. You know,
I wanted Stone Cold to come out and do a stunner to somebody. Instead, they had him read the fucking attendance record. I'm like, are you serious?
And almost kill somebody in the front row with his four-wheeler, man.
He didn't almost kill her. Come on.
If that fucking barricade wasn't good, that lady was fucking roadkill.
I agree with you.
She was going to get sent back about fucking 15 rows with how he was driving.
If the barricade wasn't there, but she didn't get hit hard. She played.
I hope she doesn't sue him for that. Like you said, it didn't seem like she got. I hope she didn't get hurt. So
yeah,
I hope she didn't.
Well, she's all fractured rib and shit, and I'm sitting here saying she didn't get hurt.
Yeah, Rand says Dana White would be nice to get involved in the El Grande match. It'd be funny. How about the fucking dork from NXT challenging? How about the fucking dork from NXT challenging Randy? I don't know what they see in him. Joe Hendry. Yeah, we'll get to that in 1 second, Jason. When we get to night 2, let's round out night 1. Main event. You had Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk. I knew this was going to be the ending. I thought maybe they might pull a monkey right and bring Brock Lesnar back for something to interfere. But this was always in the back of my mind. I thought they were going to turn him for both of them and go with Seth because it was just inevitable. Paul always turns on people and makes them more relevant. But I got to say, I fucking love this match. It was a phenomenal match from start to finish. The storyline that they were playing through. Best match of WrestleMania for me was this one right here. And I loved it. And I loved the heel turn at the end with Seth, man. Seth is a guy that's better as a heel. I'm not a big fan of Seth Rollins. But with a guy like Paul Heyman, it's going to take him up to the next stratosphere, for his
Seth Rollins is very much like Triple H in the fact that he is so much better when he's a heel. The momentum is so much, the stories are so much better when he's a heel. I mean, Triple H had that great run when he tore his quad and came back, and, that was a good time for him to be a babyface, but primarily Triple H was always great as a heel, and I feel Seth Rollins follows a lot in his footsteps. So, he's the next Triple H in my opinion. So, yeah, absolutely. Him as a heel is perfect. The way they did the match was great. You knew it was coming. It was written on the wall. Any real wrestling fan could have seen that storyline was going to go that way, where they did the double cross and then the other double cross. So they booked that phenomenal. I loved it.
It was flawlessly done to me.
Yeah.
One of the funniest parts of it was when when Paul got Triple H with the nut shot, and then he did this thing with his arm. I don't know if you noticed it. He hits him in the nuts and low blows him. And then it's like he was taking his arm and rubbing it in. You
mean when he got Roman Reigns?
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. When he got Roman Reigns, he's like, I don't know what the fuck he was doing. Yeah. He was just jamming the Tribal Chief's junk.
Yeah,
there.
like I'm not carrying your bags anymore, motherfucker. He wrenched it in there.
Boy, Michael Cole's reaction was great on commentary too. That son of a bitch.
Jim Ross.
he did his best Jim impression on that one for sure. But. Great match, and there's a lot of fun stuff coming, as we saw in the Raw after, which we'll talk about right after we get done with this card. Rewind says, happy for Paul Heyman finally dropping all that dead weight, and taking other people's career to the next level again. So, not that Seth needed anybody, because he doesn't. He's been a main eventer for a decade now, I think, but Paul adds a different element to him and takes him to the next level for me. Makes him even better, and I think you're going to see yourself a Seth Rollins run here for the title sometime very soon as well.
Sure.
It's going to happen. I myself think it's fresh that he's aligned with Seth. It's good that he's finally done with that kiss ass, your tribal chief bullshit. And you know what that does too, Lawrence? It gives the tribal chief an ability to kind of reinvent himself a little bit more without the wise man. So
it was good while it lasted, man. We can't say that the tribal chief stuff was horrible. I mean, it carried the WWE for a very long time, and it was the highest rated stuff. It created the bloodline gimmick. Yep. I mean, so it really did help out with that storyline. Kept me interested for a long time.
Rand thinks Austin Theory and then Drew. I don't know about Theory, maybe, but
dude, Drew McIntyre. I'm sorry, I'm done with watching the shit with him. He's stale to me. He's kind of gone the way of Bobby Lashley.
I think he's great as a heel now. He used to be Snooze McIntyre to me. I think he's gotten much better, but I think he needs to be freshened up a little bit too, because he comes across as a killer, and then they make him lose to everybody. And anytime
just
he's in a big
Karrion Kross, they did the same thing to him.
Did you see his promo after WrestleMania that they put up, man? The fire that he had, it was that Miz-like one with Daniel Bryan.
He needs to go back to being Killer Kross, dude.
He mentioned Killer Kross at the end of it, so I'm kind of hoping.
Amazing gimmick, and TNA did the best with Killer Kross, in my opinion.
I hope with him mentioning it at the end that maybe they're going to go back to Killer Cross. I think that's kind of where they're going. So,
do you remember his opening when he came out and they had that badass entrance with Scarlett in the middle of the ring with the
in
time?
NXT?
Oh my god,
it was awesome.
That stuff was fire, and everybody loved it, dude.
And he ran through everybody on the NXT roster.
And then they made him some gladiator-looking fuck on the. It was just like, what the fuck? Me and you talked about that. We said that Karrion Kross was going to be the hottest signing if they did it right. He was going to be the hottest gimmick in WWE if they did it right.
This is a great opportunity for him now to run, and I think you're going to see them strap a rocket to his ass this year too.
They need to, dude. He has the look. He's a badass wrestler. He's got the hot wife. He's got
his mic skills are fucking phenomenal.
Great. He's the total package right now.
Yeah, I hope they do something more with him too. Yep. So let's see. Jason says the best part about night one, no Solo Sikoa bullshit. Thank you, God. Fuck Solo. If I never saw him on the screen,
with the gladiator shit. Yes, he did, Jude.
He the fuck did, Jude.
When they did that, we were on the show just trashing that stuff, man.
Oh, the worst. Drew and Cross as a team. I don't want to see either of them.
God, please no.
Let Cross go on his own.
Yes.
Paul Heyman is smart, so I bet he'll bring Hook over to try to have a triple threat tag team. You could imagine how Hook is in the WWE, be unstoppable. You never know, Rewind. Maybe we'll see Baby Taz in there soon.
You never know.
Maybe we'll see the future.
Dominic's the Intercontinental Champ. If he can do it, then Hook can.
Oh yeah, let's get into night two here. Are you good to go for a few minutes, and then we'll take a bathroom break for everybody?
Absolutely.
But night two, man, the moment of the night for night two for me, and probably my favorite moment of the whole WrestleMania weekend. Everybody knows on the show we love this guy, and I always get tired of him where they just don't put him over. This guy is a future world champion as long as you do it right, and love that 4-way match that they had for the IC title. And some people were shocked. I wasn't. I knew they were going to give. I felt it that they were going to give Dom the belt on this one.
Saw that going from a mile away too.
The moment and the cry. I think he probably got Jude. You tell me if I'm wrong. You were there, but he probably got the biggest crowd reaction of all of WrestleMania when he won the title.
For sure.
It's so funny how wrestling fans just boo this kid out of the building, and then he gets that moment and steals the show on him. And gets that title, and the crowd just goes nuts. And then when he runs back to go up afterwards to celebrate with the crowd going wild, man, good for Dominic. This guy's been one of the most entertaining parts of WWE for the last few years. And there's so much good that this kid's going to have in his career. What do you think about them putting it on, Dominic?
I love it. I love it. I saw it coming from a mile away, much like the Rollins moment. Dominic, he had to go over in this moment, man. They've done a lot building him up as a monster heel. Now he's got the new entrance song that sounds much like Eddie Guerrero's Latino Heat one back in the day. I love what they're doing with the kid, man, and I hope they keep going with it. I hope they make him a champion one day. I think he could do it. If, like you said, if they do it right, he's got to stay a heel, though. I don't think you can pull this off being a face unless they do like the Latino cheat type of stuff, cheat to win and everything like that. But, Dominic, man, everybody said he wasn't going to make it in the beginning. When he was teaming with his dad and the boring stuff that they were doing, look at him now, man. He's taking over the show. So
Jude was there. He's telling you right there. He said
biggest pop
of the weekend. Biggest pop of the weekend.
He's destined for a lot of good stuff, man.
I love Dirty Dom. He's the greatest mystery. He's going to be a world champion in a few years, guys.
He's the Tendy King, man. The chicken tender king.
How great is he paired with Liv, too?
Yeah, it's perfect.
And Dominic is living his best life. He's got a beautiful wife in real life. He's had Mommy now as his lady, and then Liv. And
who wouldn't? And he's got that badass mustache, dude. Who wouldn't want to be Dom?
And the mullet to boot.
The mullet.
This fucking guy he's a hero of mine. Like, think of the story here. We talk about great all-time comebacks and stories from prison to the Intercontinental Champion at WrestleMania. Like
when I grow up, I want to be like.
What an arc of redemption. I mean, let's go back even farther in his life. He's got that fucking deadbeat father of his that treated him like shit his whole life.
Like shit.
Awful man, Rey Mysterio, treated that poor kid like he was dirt.
Bleach his hair blonde when he was a kid. Child abuse, just horrible.
His mother, not nice to him, second-rate citizen to his sister from everything that we've heard. Had that brutal prison stint, where all the gangs wanted to come after him and had to realize that you don't fuck with that guy. You don't steal Dom's pudding pop.
Caller.
Yeah, fucking shot calling it out on in San Quentin. Then comes over, shitty gimmick with his father. His father's trying to steal all of his skills.
Yep.
And
all his
then
glory.
Once he dumps that deadbeat piece of shit father of his, he gets mommy then, and then now he gets Liv. Now he's an IC champ. I mean,
he's a true-time Hall of Famer for sure.
Kid is great. Yeah. Jason said Cena said on Monday Dom is one of the best wrestlers he's ever seen, and he'll be more popular than Ray. He very well could. I hope he does, man. Jude said smart thing is that they protect him strategically.
Yes.
I predicted Dom was going to help Finn win the belt, but I got it wrong. Dirty Dom is a 20-year veteran. He deserves that IC belt. Right. Absolutely. This guy's, 6 years old he's been in the ring, paying his dues. His dad sent him down to Tijuana when he was 8 to go work the circuit over there. Put him in slum-like conditions. Yeah. This kid is the American dream. This kid's the American dream, folks.
Shame on Rey Mysterio.
God bless Dominic, though, right? Yeah. God bless him. Dom is the perfect chicken shit heel. He sure is.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, they're going to Perth. I saw Lawrence. You should definitely go check out a show. I don't know if you've ever been to a WWE show or not, but you definitely should go to one live. It's worth it.
It's a good experience.
All right, night 2. Rest of it. Let's the undercard once again. Going back to the undercard, just stunk to me. So there's not really much I want to talk about on it. I could give a shit less about the Damian Priest and Drew match. Io Sky retaining her title. A decent match.
Everybody knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, Becky Lynch came back in the women's tag match. Let me say this about the women's tag match. Lila Valkyrie is a fucking charisma vacuum of nothing.
Right.
She sucks the charisma out of anybody if you're with her.
She really does.
I do not understand for the fucking life of me why they are pushing this chick. Mm-hmm. Like, she is fucking boring. There is nothing exciting about this girl in any way. Yep. She's like watching fucking paint dry to me.
I think I'd rather watch the paint dry.
Yeah, I think I might too. Like, she is fucking awful. If you guys like her, great. I don't fucking get it. Like,
no,
stay away. Like, Becky turns on her on Monday, which I thought was great. They lost the women's championship back to Liv and Raquel. I thought they had a fun match.
Her costume, I got to say, in WrestleMania was the worst too, I think.
And then the feathers in her hair were exploding throughout the whole match, and they were all over the ring.
I don't know who thought that shit over, but
it was. Like what is she like? The guy the Falcon that took over for Captain America? Is that what you're trying to fucking get with her?
That was supposed to be what came out of that fucking egg.
Whatever she spent on that, ask for a fucking refund. It was awful. But they had him win. Liv and Raquel got it back. They had a great match on Monday night. I got to say that. It was a really good match on Monday night with Raquel and Liv versus those two. And the way they played it up. Liv is one of my favorite people to watch week in and week out. I love her character now. And I never liked her before. Thank you, Dominic.
Always liked her.
I never was a fan, And I
even liked her in that group with the two girls that she was with, too.
Oh, the Riot Squad.
Riot Squad.
She has done some great stuff the last couple years, and to me in 2024, she was the Women's Wrestler of the Year in my opinion. That's just mine, though. What else do we have? That was pretty much it. Randy Orton, mystery partner. Joe Hendry, I think it was Jason mentioned earlier. I think Joe Hendry is good, and I know he got a little viral earlier in the year, but this I did not like.
It didn't make any sense whatsoever.
He squashes him in just a couple of minutes.
It made the TNA partnership look awful.
But they were trying to justify it. He was on Busted Open justifying it, like it was kind of like one of those moments where it's like he was happy he was just there, and I get that, but
it's great.
I think they could have done way better.
It made him look like a jabroni.
I agree. Like, I hope he got a good payday. I'm sure he did, but I would have brought somebody else out for this, not him. So
you could have done anything. Rusev, you could. I mean, there's plenty of people you could.
Aleister Black, who's going to be coming back, but. No, you got Joe Hendry for it. So I don't know. I believe in Joe Hendry a little bit.
Bring Aleister Black back. How do you do that? Because who goes over in that moment?
That's why I think they put Joe Hendry in there, because they just wanted to get somebody that got a little bit of a pop, and he got a good pop. But
I don't know if anybody noticed the Easter egg, but Randy Orton's trunks were actually the design of his debut trunks that he had.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I love Randy Orton. I've always been a huge fan of him. I mean, we use his music sometimes when we come in, but Randy Orton, man. Did you see the video where he was meeting with some fans and they were telling him how they spent $30,000 on tickets, and he was flabbergasted by it, and he said it was embarrassing. I love his honesty and the brutal nature of him. So Yeah, Rob, he did show up on NXT this last week. I think he's trying to Joe Hendry is trying to insert himself in the title picture over there too. So, you know, they're doing a lot with him. So the NXT idiot, Jason calls him. Rewind says, I think about all the trauma that Don went through. He was in a ladder match for his custody. Now look him thriving, brother.
American dream.
I laughed at Wade Barrett when Liv got in the squatting position. He made that noise. He was turned on. Not that I blame him. I would have made the same noise. He got the second biggest pop of the night. All right. Hendry was over with the crowd, Jude says. Yeah. So Jude's telling you from a live perspective, they were happy to see him. WWE will bury outsiders. Look at the GOAT Taz. Welcome to the club, Joe Hendry. Yeah.
Yep. It's true.
Hendry looks like one of those feminine male figure skaters. It's a good analogy, actually. That is. It's a good analogy.
I see the comparison.
Laurent says it was the Randy Orton challenge was his favorite match at WrestleMania. Not too many moves, and the way Randy Scott should respectfully done when they were playing on Joe posing, getting a second RKO. Randy got his payday. That's all I'll say, and so did Joe. So they got his payday. Let's get to the main event, though. What a fucking disappointment this was to me. What a disappointment. These two had zero fucking chemistry with one another. It was fucking boring. It was just, it felt like it was going on forever, bro. Forever. Just, yeah, Rob says right here, trash. Like,
I'm thinking of a moment in time that this occurred the same exact way. WCW, Sting and Hogan. You build up a perfect storyline and you just shit the fucking bed, dude.
This was a bigger flop than that, in my opinion.
Oh my god, it was horrible.
Do you think this was a bigger flop than the Sting and Hogan match at Starrcade?
Yeah, absolutely. It was horrible.
Too. It was a bigger
I was
flop.
so excited, and I was hoping we were going to do our comeback show before Mania, because I was gonna say that the Cena stuff was some of my favorite stuff of his career. I love the Cena gimmick that he's doing right now. I think it's great, and the stuff that he's doing on the interviews, like on the Pat McAfee show and stuff like that. I think it's all phenomenal what he's doing. But that match, man, I don't know what it was, if they just weren't clicking together. I don't know, dude, but it was one of the worst drawn-out matches of all time.
Jude says, I'll tell you, watching it live, it was painful. I can only imagine.
And Cena just wasn't with it, man. There were some moments where you were just like, he was like deer in headlights.
She says, at least there wasn't a quick count. Yeah,
it's very true.
And you have Bret Hart come in as and change it around. Even though he's not the fucking referee, just have a wrestler just jump in there and change it around.
You have fucking Bill Goldberg come out and do the fast count. That'd been great.
Yeah. Jude says zero crowd interest during the match. And Rob mentions it too. This is the next point I want to get to, the Travis Scott entry and him being in this in general. It was forever when you're watching it on TV. I can imagine it was forever. If I had to hear that fucking WrestleMania song that he sang one more time, I might have just jumped off a fucton bridge and hoped that I could swim afterwards in the cold water, because I was so sick.
That guy generated. I understand. He generated a ton of merchandise money. They did a clothing line. They did.
Who the fuck is he? Just a rapper?
He's a rapper. Is
he popular?
He's very popular. He sells Nikes that are ungodly expensive, called Travis Scott's. They're thousands of dollars. They had a box of cards come out that specifically he designed. Okay, with the WWE. And these boxes of cards are limited, and I think they have 3 packs in them. They're going for $1,100 right now. It's insane. The belt that he had, the hardcore title that they designed for him, it's going for $3,500. I mean, just generating stupid money for WWE.
I mean, the thing with Travis Scott is, this is the best you can do to help Cena break the record and win it for number 17. Is have this skinny,
a lot of money, man.
Yeah, you have this skinny little dork come out and help him win, and that's the big moment. Why in the fuck did The Rock?
They were trying to get the attention of the younger generation to get him in there. He's one of the more hip guys, like they've done with Jelly Roll and Machine Gun Kelly and all these.
I get it, rappers, but not in the main event of WrestleMania.
No, it's not worthy. I think it was stupid too. It made zero sense.
Do like they did with Bad Bunny, where you built something on a solid.
A lot of people were bringing comparison of when they brought Rodman out, and I'm like, this was not the same thing at all.
Fuck no.
Rodman actually knew what he was doing and got heat, and like he looked the part. This guy just was a clown.
Talk about sending the crowd home fucking pissed after that match, and then the big tournament. I mean, look at last year's main event, how awesome that was between Roman and Cody and all the interjections of different people, the setup to it. I said it last year. WrestleMania 40 was my favorite WrestleMania I've ever watched in all the years. And
they shit the bed this year.
Oh, they shit it horribly, man. It was a real letdown to me overall. Everything
made a lot of money. Made a ton of fucking money.
I forgot about Charlotte. Who gives a shit about that? That match was sloppy.
That's why we didn't bring it up.
Yeah, sloppy and awful and terrible. Tiffy needs to work on her shit too, because
Charlotte should have went over.
Charlotte looked like shit in the ring too that night. She broke one of her teeth out or something like that too.
Tiffy did.
Yeah, Tiffy did. And just Tiffy needs to get back to work on some stuff. She's a heel, not a babyface too. So let's get that. Let's establish that as well. So, but going back to the Cena stuff. So he gets number 17. He breaks the record. Whoop-de-fucking-do.
What the hell was the point in having Cody Rhodes not hit him with the belt?
Yeah, and what was the point of not having The Rock come out, who helped build the storyline? I think the Rock
biggest moment that The Rock should have showed up.
Yeah, he comes out, the heel turn finally happens, and then he's never mentioned why he joined The Rock. They never did the third man thing yet that he was alluding to. He was involved with nothing to the show. They were selling those T-shirts for him, and he was never even there. Doesn't show up afterwards. Why did you even bring this guy back who was seen at Backlash? You didn't need for him to do this shit. Was it The Rock just trying to get himself out there again? And
he's
putting
trying
himself
to stay
out.
Relevant in the storyline so he can come back next year.
To me, I love The Rock. Stay the fuck away now, man.
I don't want him to stay away. I want him to if he's gonna if you're all in, then be the fuck all in. If you're all out, then get the fuck out.
To me, I'm about him staying home now because they haven't done anything with this. This was stupid,
But the moments that he has done it have been very entertaining.
Absolutely.
Like last year, he completely made WrestleMania's event last year.
He saved it and turned it into something great last year.
He made wrestling cool again.
Yeah, but you can't do this shit that they did. Where you bring him out, do the heel turn, trying to set up the same.
He's too big of a star.
Yeah, and then you have no follow through on it. There's no continuity to it. It's never been explained. There's nothing that's come out of it. And I know long-term storyline, like we talk about all the time. I just don't see them doing anything long-term with it. It was to me a way for him to get on, the card for whatever reason.
We need to see him go against Cody Rhodes. Period.
Is it ever going to happen?
That's what we need.
We've been teasing it for years now.
You really want to finish the story, then have him go against the final boss.
McAfee interviewed The Rock on Monday, and he said there was never a plan for him to appear at Mania. Yeah, I saw that, Jason.
Could have fooled me.
But I saw that when he said that because, like you said, could have fooled me because why would you bring him out then at the fucking,
you mentioned him in every part of the damn story.
Yeah. Why would you do it if there was never a plan? It seems like very waste. You could have done that later on in some way and done it even better, Cena could have turned heel in his own way without The Rock there.
How do you feel about there's just something with you have Stone Cold Steve Austin show up and you have him read the fucking attendance numbers. And you don't have him stun anybody. You don't, one of the greatest of all time considerably, and you have him read the attendance numbers.
This was a way to get, we talked about this last year about getting Austin involved in WrestleMania when we talked about this last year in some of the archive shows. And we had mentioned with Austin and The Rock and their great feud that they had. One of the greatest feuds that they had was with each other. You could have done so much with
perfect setup.
Yeah, there was so much you could have done. And you still could have had Cena go over if you would have brought The Rock in. One of the Rocks and Stone Cold, one of the greatest feuds of, they're both of their careers with one another. There was so much that could have been told and would have been special. Imagine if The Rock was kicking the shit out of Cody in that match, and then you just hear the glass break.
You hear the glass shatter.
Well,
you get Austin come down and wreck his quad and get in there and read the attendance numbers. That's what everybody wanted to see him
fucking do. Pointless, Rand thinks Seth and Rock is coming at 42. I don't know, maybe. I think it's him and Roman at 42 if they're going to do anything with him. I think it's got to be that. I think you maybe get him and Cody at SummerSlam or something, but I wouldn't be disappointed if he stayed away. Just going to say that right now.
It sucks.
Yeah,
I
love
really
The Rock.
Excited about him.
Yeah. I mean, I love him too. So it's was what it is. It is what it is. It was what it was. We'll see where it goes from here. Richie, still good for a few more minutes to open up the lines?
Sure.
All right. So let's take about 5 minutes for a little bathroom break here, everybody. So we'll say 5 minutes and we'll come back. We're going to open up the lines. We'll talk about the Raw after. We'll talk about any of you guys' thoughts, anything that you want to talk about. I'll put the link out right now. Just if you guys want to go into the, you'll see it in the comments that I'll put out. If you want to join us, great. I might not be able to get everybody on tonight. So if I don't get to you tonight, we'll get you next week. I'll make a list of who might not have got on. I want to go one by one pretty much with everybody tonight instead of just doing everybody. So I'll put the link out in the chat if you want to pop on. We'll say maybe we'll bring 2 or 3 people on tonight. So first come, first serve tonight. I can see the order of who comes in. So in the interest of time and just we're having a great time, we could go on forever. We'll probably take maybe 2 or 3 people tonight. So link is going out to the chat right now if you want to join us. Anything you want to talk about in that segment, we'll come back in 5 minutes. Okay, we'll see you guys in 5. Don't leave. Come on back. All right, we're back, everybody. Thanks for bearing with us for just a few minutes while we got a little quick bathroom break in. Hey, Richie, I forgot to ask you this, and I want to throw it out to everybody as well in the audience. So I should have asked you this ahead of time. What do you like better? Do you like Mondays or Wednesdays, or does it not matter to you either of those nights each week?
Wednesdays work for me the best.
Okay. In the audience,
if everybody's cool with that.
Yeah, in the audience, is Wednesdays good for you guys usually? I know things come up sometimes through the week for everybody, but we like to try to stick to a day during the week that's better for everybody.
It's hump day, man. What better day to do it than
AEW's on, and nobody gives a shit about AEW anyway, so it's kind of a better way and an alternative. So if you guys like Wednesdays, just chime in the comments and just let us know if Wednesdays is a good week for you. If you guys are in agreement, we'll try to stick to that every week. We might have to alter it occasionally, to another night if something comes up. But I work on Tuesdays.
We'll let you know in advance.
Yeah, I work on Tuesdays a lot, so Tuesdays is a hard night for me. But Wednesdays I can definitely do too. So if you guys are cool with Wednesdays, let's try to stick to Wednesday. Yeah, Jude says Wednesdays works the best for him. So throw your comments. As long as Wednesdays is good for you guys, we'll try to stick to that each week. So let me bring on our guest tonight. I'll bring everybody on at once tonight. We'll give everybody some time on. So let's bring on. We got the man with the greatest beard out there, Mr. Jude.
How's it going, guys?
We got Blackjack Laza from Australia, and we got our good buddy, the man, the myth, and he's definitely a fucking legend, the one and only Rewind. Fellas, how are you tonight?
Love the shirt, Rewind.
Show my love, man. Show my love.
Dude, hey, so tell everybody, Rewind, you actually went to a live event.
Yeah, I went to SmackDown in January. I got off work a little bit early. Went down. I went by myself. I don't really know anyone out here that's really into wrestling. Got off work early. Got tickets. Great seats. They're a little behind the announce table, a row up or a few rows up, like not the ground, but the one on top.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fucking dope, dude.
It warmed my heart, dude. You sent me and John a picture and was just like, "Hey guys, I made it," and it was like, "Hell yeah, dude! Yeah. That's so awesome. Glad to see you back at a wrestling event."
Dude, yeah. Dude, I love WrestleMania. I know you guys aren't whatever. I give it 8 out of 10. It's the first WrestleMania I've never walked in since
nice.
Austin HBK. I know I watched the Dudley Boys and Hardy Boys and Chris and Edge, but the one I remember the most is that one. So it's been 20-some years.
Long time, dude.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got a chance to go, and I'm glad you like WrestleMania too. See, that's what I love about wrestling is maybe it's not our cup of tea on something, or we might not like a show, but there's somebody out there that thinks it's awesome, and that's the best part.
Not everything on the card I like. But I overall I enjoyed it.
Awesome.
I like Dom.
There's people that like Stone Cold Steve Austin and think he's the GOAT, and there's people like you that think it's Taz.
Taz.
He is. Yeah. What are you talking about?
Laza, what's going on, man? How you doing in Australia? Everything going good with you, brother?
Yeah, pretty good. Yourself?
Doing wonderful, man. We're here with you guys tonight. It's always good. It's always good to see you, fellas. I don't think any of us complain. We get a chance to have a good time and chop it up a little bit tonight and talk a little bit about wrestling. See you guys, man. So it's all worth it right there. Jude, my man, how was Vegas? Did you enjoy the show?
Beard is looking phenomenal.
It's on point, right? On point.
It is, man.
Killing it. When I grow up, I hope my beard gets to be like yours, man.
Jude's so cool with that beard that he literally probably came out of the womb with a beard that good.
Absolutely.
That's how cool Jude is.
Yeah, and his color in it, Viking cup.
I want to come for you.
I think my is jealous.
I'd be jealous of that beard right there. Yeah. Jude knows how to rock that out. Jude, how was your experience in Vegas, man? Tell us about it.
It was amazing, man. Had a hell of a time. Talked to a lot of different people out there.
Took some years off your life, did it?
Ooh, buddy, yeah. Yeah. No, it was neat to be there and to just with the crowd and listening to the crowd and how they were reacting. The number one complaint that I got, too predictable. Way too predictable.
Mm-hmm.
And night one, crowd, dead.
Mm-hmm.
Dead. They never got into it. Got into it. Like the biggest pops of the night was CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever they were chanting for him, and Jey Uso, lukewarm.
Really?
Lukewarm. It was a mixed bag. He got a better reaction for his entrance than he did for whenever he actually won.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was so lukewarm all night, the whole event. Just no buy-in. It was way too predictable. Gunther tapping out.
Wow.
That like the crowd, you could tell whenever it was. I will say this: when Gunther tapped out, there was a hush.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost like whenever Brock beat Taker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was that.
Dead.
People were just like,
"What just happened?
Why?
What? Hold on, yeah, like hold on, what's going on here? Like what?"
We were just sold a wolf ticket because they had this storyline where he beat the shit out of his brother to a bloody pulp, and then
When's the last time Jey Uso won by submission?
Yeah,
Never.
Never.
Yeah,
right. It made 0 sense.
Yeah.
Made 0 sense.
And that's Gunther's move, man. He's a submission machine.
Yeah.
Like,
and then he tapped so fast.
Yeah,
it's like it seemed the guy beside me whenever we were there said it seemed rushed.
Mm-hmm.
He said it seemed like the match was rushed. Now, if you notice in the beginning of the match, Jay's holding on to his arm.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was something wrong with his arm.
So I got a question. His post-fight interview, he was pretty messed up as far as he had consumed some alcohol. Could he have been messed up before the match even started, and that's why they rushed it?
I think he might have been on painkillers.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, during the match, he kept holding on to his arm. Like there was something wrong with his arm. And he did it from the time that he got into the ring. Like when for his entrance, when he got into the ring, he went to get up on the ropes and he
didn't even do a long.
No.
He didn't,
No. Well, I think that was storyline though, because they did it like they showed a video package before the match.
Mm-hmm.
That they're like, oh, no yeet. No yeet. So I think that's why he wasn't doing it going into the match.
Okay.
But like I said, when he got into the ring, he was hurt. Like you could tell that, like something with one of his, I think it was your left or his right arm, either one. But he looked hurt, like he had tweaked it or pulled a muscle or something like that. I don't know though. But I mean, the crowd not into it.
Mm-hmm.
Just wasn't into the match, and like I said, it seemed rushed. Like I would have liked to have seen Gunther get him a little bit more than what he did. I think they pumped Gunther out with it. With the match, I think they pumped Gunther out with it. I don't know where he goes from here. It doesn't
need to get him back on top. I thought it was a total mistake.
So here's the thing: everybody in the crowd knew Jay was winning,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I said it was too predictable. Everybody that I talked to, too predictable, way too predictable.
No one knew who's going to win Royal Rumble. I had it down to I don't know who's going to win, but my theory was going to be Seth, Punk, Cena. Yeah, those guys were going to be the last ones in it. And then they eliminated. It was just Cena and Jay, and then Jay won, and that blew my mind. So I think after that, everyone knew Jay was going to get a rocket ship.
He had to win.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to win at all.
It was probably the most unexpected Rumble win, I think, in all the years of doing the Rumble. For him to take it. So there was no way they weren't going to give him that moment, to win. That's why the predictability, like you said, is just it was glaring. And then you had Gunther just killing him every week, killing his brother. Right. It was going to happen. It was inevitable.
Right. And the thing is they're another guy said they're force feeding Jay like they force fed Edge.
Mm-hmm. And Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but I mean, you got to think of it this way though. Roman had Paul Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm saying Roman Reigns prior.
Absolutely.
And then you turn him heel and he goes to the moon,
Yeah, it was way too predictable. I
love Jay's story. He was the sidekick. He was the dude. I went back and watched the WWE Bloodline history.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, Roman was beating the shit out of Jay the whole time. Then he comes like this sidekick or whatever, and people start falling in love with this dude. He's like your favorite like sidekick or whatever. And then out of nowhere, he just wins the Rumble. Or he had the Saturday main event with Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, got his ass kicked. I wanted him to win. That's when I started really liking him. I'm like, dude, I really want Jay to win. He lost that, and he won the Rumble. I'm like, dude, I can it's an underdog story,
Yeah,
like,
everybody loves the underdog Rocky story, right?
Absolutely.
I'm like, dude, after he won it, I'm like, dude, this is my dude right here. You know what I mean? I don't like his interviews. I don't like his matches, but I just love his story.
I think you're going to get, with what happened on Monday Night Raw, I think you're going to get a tag match at Backlash. I think it's going to be Jey Uso and Pat McAfee. versus Gunther, and I think Gunther's going to pick up Corey Graves.
Interesting. That's interesting.
That would be cool.
I liked what they did on Monday. I got to say that. I really liked what they did on Monday with Cole calling him out for tapping out, Gunther coming out all pissed off like he was just and then ready to kick the shit out of him. And I'd like to say thank you to Gunther because I can't stand Pat McAfee. And
me neither.
Every week, Pat McAfee brings that fucking annoying putz Aaron Rodgers on his show.
Yeah, he always makes me want to change the channel, to be honest with you.
I'll tell you what. They did the Pat McAfee show at WWE World. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
Did you go to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was phenomenal. He was funny as shit, and some of the off color things that he says during his show, like it, dude. At WWE World, it was awesome. It was awesome just hearing him.
Were you there when they had the
idea? He said that Corey hates McAfee and stuff for the replacement and everything, so it sells it right there. Like I like that too. Go ahead, Rewind.
Were you there when they had the guy dressed up like Hogan? That shit was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, the I forget his name, but he was actually dressed up as Hogan on the stage with the Topps trading cards.
Okay.
He was there first because Kevin Owens was opening up packs with what's his name? Not Tyler Breeze. He was there opening up packs, and the guy that was dressed up as Hogan was standing off to the side, and Kevin Owens had made some comments to him like, "Hey," there was so there's one guy with Topps that was taking the cards after he signed a couple of them, and he was African American. And Kevin Owens made a comment. He was like, "Hey, watch out for that guy with the mustache over there. He has something to say about you." And I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like,
wow.
Yeah. They were drinking like Austin's beer, and there's a black dude, and he's like, "This is what real beer tastes like." And the guy dressed up Hogan's like, "It doesn't matter. We don't want you buying it anyways." It was just
yeah. Oh yeah.
It was hilarious.
Well, it's funny too because Hulk Hogan, in the middle of WWE World, had a bar there.
Yeah,
they were selling his beer. No one was there.
Wow.
No one was buying it. It was like I tried
what's
it.
What's the hate with Hogan? I don't understand.
They're still going back to the stuff from all those years ago with the tapes and the racist stuff, and they just hate him because of it.
You know? I think I told you guys I had talked to a wrestler while we were there, and he is very opinionated about Hulk Hogan. Somebody like I told you guys, I said I wouldn't, but he's very opinionated, and he feels that Hulk Hogan, his words, not mine, is raping the industry for relevancy now.
Oh my God! Come on.
Interesting.
He had some other things to say, and it makes you think. Like it makes you think. So, but there's a rumor that whenever WWE put Hogan out for Raw on Netflix, that they were basically egging the audience on to shit on him.
Well, they probably were. Dude, when I was at SmackDown, they had a little thing for the main event, and his face popped up, and everyone booed. Like,
yeah.
I love Hogan, man. You'll never get me to turn on Hogan.
Same here.
Ever.
Yeah. I mean, without
here.
Hogan, you don't have the industry.
I get what he said was awful and shit, and I get that he's been
Everybody makes
protecting himself.
Mistakes, dude.
Everybody makes a mistake. Lord knows if we
and
all.
if anyone hasn't told a black joke, you're lying.
And if
absolutely, yeah.
And if we all got punished for every mistake that we've made in this world, and none of us would have any ability to do anything then too, be all of us in this world, because everybody makes a dumb decision at some point or says something bad. And there's a lot of people that have said nice things about him. That's why I get pissed off at Taker, because Taker takes every opportunity to bury Hogan now, and it's just like a game for him.
Here's the thing: he buries Hogan because of what Hogan did to him.
Yep, it's true.
The WrestleMania.
That's why the one where he tombstoned Hogan and Hogan
he had
broke your neck, brother, and he got nowhere close to it. Yeah.
You could tell the dissension between them there. Where did you stay in Vegas, Jason? Luxor. Okay.
Yeah.
Good accommodations there.
Oh my God, yeah. It was funny. We were in the check-in, and walking through on the one wall was Reggie. And he had his suit on with the shorts.
Yeah.
And standing there holding his bags. And I stopped and I turned around and I looked and I went, "Reggie?" And he went, "Yeah." I'm like, "Cool.
That's funny. Cool.
Yeah. He's like, yeah. Yeah, cool. All right. Let's keep going.
How many wrestlers did you run into and get an opportunity to chat with?
Reggie, Karrion Kross, and Scarlett.
He's a good dude in person, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Karrion Kross was the nicest guy
to
just talk to. And here's the thing. I got to talk to him at the Public House, which is the bar there. And we were down there and talking to him. And not a lot of people knew who he was.
Yeah.
Like, it was weird because he was there, like, he got there Tuesday. And we ran into him Wednesday. So we were talking to him. Super nice guy. Talked to whatever you wanted to talk to him. And he didn't rush. Like, it wasn't like you were bothering him or anything like that. But man, I do believe that he is going to take off in the next, like,
he needs to.
Like
we
Friday.
have said that from day one that he was the hottest signing they could have got, and they shit the bed with him, and it's been a shame. It's almost been criminal what they've done to him. Much like what they did with Shinsuke Nakamura. I mean, how could you fuck that up?
Shinsuke's gone.
Yeah,
Shinsuke's gone. He's
but
gone.
How could you fuck that up? How hot he was when he first started. You know, it's like,
you know what shit the bed is whenever he won the Rumble and then lost at Mania.
Yeah.
And then
I was there for that Rumble.
Yeah, that's
and he was over with the crowd too, right?
Oh my god, it was one of the loudest pops I ever heard.
His entrance alone, man, his entrance just sucked people in. I'll never forget his first debut against Sami Zayn in NXT and that entrance that he had, and it was so fucking. It was such a cool.
He's a great worker, man. Yeah, believable, badass style. Just a shame.
Was it your first WrestleMania to go to, Jude, or you've been to one before?
One in Philly was the first one last year. So
now, Laza, what about you in Australia? You've never been to a WWE show, have you?
No, I've been putting it off because, to be honest, I was probably more of a WCW fan. Even though I like WWF, WWE, I felt like the tours we had in Australia, they were just tours where I saw WCW Nitro live, and I felt like that was more worthwhile going to. But with like the proper shows they have now, they're not just like tours. I've been considering going, like Elimination Chamber where they had it, and I think they're doing another one in Perth.
How close are you to Perth?
I'm in Queensland, so the other side of Australia.
Oh man, so that's a long haul for you to go to it, huh?
Yeah, I'd have to like save up, but I heard they're also doing like a Raw and SmackDown along with like the big event as well.
Okay,
Laza, congrats on Volkanovski bringing the UFC title back home, baby.
Yeah, it was good, that.
I hope you had a shoey.
Yeah.
Who here has had a shoey? Not me.
Oh, I have. I got video proof of that.
That's become pretty popular, but I've never even tried it, to be honest.
They did fire all the people with him, Jason. The AOP, Ellering, they're all gone now. So he doesn't have those people holding him down in that shitty faction anymore. They're all gone.
It's so terrible that Paul Ellering got tied with that hot garbage.
Oh, God. Paul Ellering has been in WWE almost as many times as Marty Jannetty by now. You know, like he can come and go as much as he wants, it seems. But you know, I'm not wishing for anybody to lose their job, but I'm kind of glad we don't have to see those idiots anymore, Jason. You know, let's hope Cross does something good, you know, in the future. What do you guys think about, you know, we'll wrap up night one with this. What do you guys think about Braun Breaker getting teamed up on Monday Night Raw with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins? I'll say I fucking loved it. I love Braun Breaker. Braun's going to the next level because of this. Like, what do you guys think of the pairing with them? I'll start with Laza first. Laza, you like this pairing of Braun Breaker with Rollins and Heyman?
Yeah, definitely. I think there could be some connection too. Like I heard there could be a new dangerous alliance. I reckon add the Creed brothers to the team.
Please
don't do that. She's a heel.
And you got like the Creed brothers as lackeys for Braun Breaker, and they sort of work within the team with the others.
Braun's going to go to the moon with this. What do you think, Rewind? What do you think about Braun Breaker joining up with Heyman and Rollins?
I'm a Paul Heyman guy. I don't care who he's with. I'm backing Paul Heyman 100%. I'm not a fan of Roman Reigns. I'm glad he left him. I'm happy he's with Seth. and Braun Breaker. I don't care who Paul Heyman is. I'm backing him 100%. That's the way I look at it.
All right. Jude, what about you? You like this pairing?
I like the pairing. I think I do believe that they're going to throw Jacob Fatu in there.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Boy, they'd be some killers if they got him.
I think they're going to throw in Jacob Fatu, and I think they're going to throw in Austin Theory in there as well.
Interesting.
I see Austin Theory in this group being like a Randy Orton in Evolution,
building him up a little bit.
Yep, to build him up because he's great. He's a great performer. He's great on a mic.
I think he's only 25 years old too.
Right. I was going to say he's young. Yeah, I think they're going to throw in Jacob Fatu and throw in Austin Theory with that group.
I like what Lazza said though, because I was thinking the same thing he did. I think they're going to make a new Dangerous Alliance type faction with them here. I think Becky goes in as like their Medusa when he had them, and I think you're going to see a lot of younger talent that's going to get really elevated just by getting that rub. And I think it's going to take Rollins to the next level even more in his career. He's already done everything you could possibly do, and this is going to make him even better. And Braun Breaker, man, this guy's a stud. You know, he's a fucking stud. And being paired with Paul's loved him from the start. He's openly said it for years, how much he loved him and how much he wanted. I believe he's actually been mentoring him for a couple of years, you know, and working with him on his promos and helping him with stuff. So I love the pairing. What about you, Richie? Do you like this pairing with everybody?
You know, it adds a new element to Braun Breaker's character. I'm glad that they're kind of going away from the stuff about the Steiners. I mean, we know he's got a tie to the Steiners. It's been beat to a dead horse now. So it adds a new element to his character. I'm glad that they're pairing a mouthpiece with him. I don't think he's too strong on the mic. And so having Paul Heyman there, that's his weakness in my view. You take away that weakness. So he's kind of the complete package now. You know, Seth Rollins, yeah, I've never been a huge fan of the guy, but hey, man, he shows up in the big moments and stuff like that. He can definitely sell a pay-per-view and carry the company responsibly.
And he can work his ass off too.
And he can work his ass off too. And like I said, he's kind of the second coming of Triple H. So in a lot of ways, you know, when you have a guy like that at the head of a group, good things happen. So,
you know, I respect him a lot more. I heard an interview with him yesterday, and somebody was asking about Hogan. You know, we go back to Hogan for a second, and they were asking him with Hogan, and he was very professional, honest, and respectful about it. I don't know if you guys saw this interview where he said, listen, I'm not a fan of the guy personally. We're never going to be he basically said we're never going to be buddies. He's never somebody I want to hang out with in any way. He's like, but I respect what he did for this business and how he built this business. There wouldn't be a business without a Hulk Hogan. He's like, I might not agree with his personality and the things that he's done. He's not my cup of tea, but you know, I respect the shit out of it. That's the difference right there to me from a guy that is a professional to a guy that shows up drunk and fucked up at the press conference. You know,
that was embarrassing. Say what you will. I'm all about having a good time and celebrating, but there's a time and a place for it. And when you're in front of the media and you're representing a multi-billion-dollar company like the WWE, don't do that.
I mean,
I guarantee he got a talking to.
Not to mention, you know, a family dynasty that's been in that business for God knows how since the beginning of time. You know.
Yeah.
But this isn't his first press conference. He showed up drunk when he won the belts with Cody. He was
shit.
I was just going to say that. Yeah,
he shouldn't have done it then.
Yeah,
so,
I think the only reason they didn't say anything then is because it was Cody too.
Yeah,
Cody was drunk too at it. So
Cody was drunk. Yeah,
he was drunk as a skunk at that one too.
I just think there's a time and a place for it. You know,
right.
Let me go on to night 2 for you guys. This will be one of my last questions I'll pose just in the interest of time tonight. We'll pick back up next week on a bunch of other good stuff. But night 2, Richie and I already broke down our thoughts on night 2. I'll start with Rewind. And Rewind, what was your favorite moment of WrestleMania night 2? You know, what did you like the most about
Don winning the belt? That was the best, hands down. And also then El Grande America. That was the second night. Or was that the first night or second night? That comes close second. I fucking love that. I fucking love him.
Me too.
Just the whole gimmick and everything. But Don winning the belt and El Grande probably. That's two best nights, or two best things.
There's something I didn't touch on. I don't mean to interrupt real quick, but you know, we gotta put some respect on the name of Pentagon Jr., dude. I mean, good God, he's exploded on the scene, and I'm excited to see where he goes. I think
he's going far.
If they keep him a singles competitor, which they should do, dude, he could be a champion, and he could really. I mean, they haven't had a strong Mexican guy out there since Eddie Guerrero. this guy could bridge that gap in the American market.
And he doesn't need to win every match either, because the fans love him. He's got that interesting and mysterious character a little bit. His mannerisms are fantastic.
He's a marketing genius too.
Oh,
his shirts that come out are the coolest damn shirts. I mean,
good point, Richie. Yeah. Real good point with him. Blackjack, what about you? What was your favorite moment of night 2 on WrestleMania? What did you like the most about it?
Definitely the Randy Orton Open Challenge with Joe Hendry. I felt it like a lot of people may disagree, but I'll tell you why I thought it was the best match. I felt a lot of the matches, they overlaid with too many spots, where that Joe Hendry match, even though people could argue it, I sort of felt it fit in with the Joe Hendry character, where he's sort of a bit of a comedian type. And then the way they RKO'd it at the end, I sort of felt like it was done respectfully, but it sort of played to his character, even though people would say he's been in squash. And then after, like, the being, like, squash sort of stuff, Randy Orton actually taps him on the chest. Job well done. I felt like, in some ways, it was sort of respectful. It was sort of done as, like, a comedy thing to his character.
And how could you blame Joe Hendry for jumping at that opportunity, even if it was a squash? I mean, it elevated him to another level. He did have a huge pop.
Jude, you said he had one moment.
Yeah, Jude, you said he had one of the biggest pops there, right?
He had probably the second biggest pop of the weekend.
Wow, that's incredible right there.
Love Joe Hendry, man. Say what you will about his gimmick and his character. They love the gimmick. They love the little cheesy music that he comes out to. I mean, it's.
He got his own shirt.
He's got his own shirt.
Like, he's making a shit ton of money just off a shirt.
I mean,
they're probably going to sign him to an NXT contract. I mean,
he's challenging for the NXT title here soon. He showed up on NXT this week. I mean, you can't fault this guy, squash or not. Who gives a shit, man? This guy he created a moment for himself. You know, he's out there doing it. Laz is telling you right now, or your wrestling fans telling you, it's his favorite moment of the night. You know, right there. Jude's there live and telling you right there, man. This guy, one of the biggest pops of the whole weekend. You know, like, that's why I love wrestling.
Joe Henry's got a future, man. He's definitely got a future.
That's why I love wrestling, because everybody has different perspectives that are all valid and good in their own way and what they like and what's their cup of tea. You know, what might not work for me works for Rewind, or what might not.
Joe Hendry was your cup of tea back in the day. I mean, I'm sure you guys drink beer like each other.
I missed you guys.
So Scott Hall.
The only complaint I have about the Joe Hendry moment, I'm just going to straight out say it, and this is a typical complaint, is the commentary team, because they're still doing, even though I had an argument with someone where they're saying to me, oh, they're a lot freer now that Vince McMahon's gone, but I still feel like the commentary team are very artificial and fake. And they kept sort of saying goofy stuff like he's getting his WrestleMania moment and sort of belittling like Joe with the like squash. But it made the commentary team look foolish, not Joe, because Joe was over. They're not. So it's a stupid thing for them to do, where they keep belittling like people in the corporate politics. Because if you look at Wrestling 101, they're not over. The fans get into people who are over anyway. Like Rowdy Piper didn't need a belt.
Jim Ross had such a way of making everything feel so genuine, you know, and Joey Styles did, and Tony Schiavone has a way of doing that and stuff. These guys today, like Pat McAfee and Michael Cole, I like what you said. It's so repetitive every week. That's one of the hard parts I'm having with watching wrestling repetitively is, God, man, their announcing team is just the drizzling shits.
If I heard vintage Randy Orton one more time,
I know.
Michael Cole, you know, I appreciate what he's done for the industry, but Jesus Christ, you know, it's like watching paint dry.
Vintage.
I like Gunther turning Pat McAfee purple. I'm cracking up about Pat McAfee going on about, oh, if you mess with Michael Cole, I want Gunther to turn Michael Cole purple. It's Michael Cole annoys me as well. The only one I like's Wade Barrett. People bitch about him. But I actually thought he was the next William Regal. He was like an up-and-comer, and I respect him, and I actually think he has common sense, where the other two don't have common sense, and they'll be belittling Joe Hendry, and he was actually trying to make Joe Hendry look good. And they'll make
he actually
fun
plays
of
a heel
Barrett.
Announcer too, Lanza. You know, that's the thing I like about him. He actually sticks to what his thing is, like, you know, as a heel announcer, right?
Sure.
Oh, definitely.
Jude, what about you, man? Night 2 was much. You said the crowd was much better. Night 2. What was your favorite moment of night 2?
Back into it. It's got to be Dirty Dom.
Love it.
I mean, when he came off the top, hit that frog splash, and you hit the 3 for the count. There wasn't a person in their seat.
Yeah,
person in their seat. Like, they blew up. And then it's funny, when he was going up the ramp, they were videoing him going up the ramp, and you saw the producer that's behind the cameraman, like, points at him, goes, like, telling him, go back into the ring.
Go back in the ring. They want you.
I think Triple H was probably over the radio going, hey, get him back in the ring. And he pointed at him, and he's going like this. And Dom goes, turns around, runs back into the ring, and he gets up on the turnbuckle, and the crowd lost it.
Yep.
I mean, just lost it for him.
It felt like, to me, Jude, like, remember when Cardona won that ladder match?
Man.
You know, I think it was
the IC title.
Yeah, it was the IC title ladder match. I think it was in Texas that they did at Dallas Stadium.
Yeah.
He wasn't even supposed to be in the match. The pop that he got in that moment was just
amazing.
Like the one that Dominic got when he
when his dad came in and everything. That was a great
awesome.
moment.
Here's my thing, man. Like, let Dom hold that title for as long as he can.
Fuck yeah.
And
have it be like Eddie Guerrero. Do it cheating ways.
Lie, cheat, steal.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Follow the same format. You will print your own money.
One thing with the whole Cena and Cody match.
Mm-hmm.
The one guy that was sitting there said it was done perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
He said, because I loved it and I hated it. He said, I hated it because of the way that Cena won.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I also love it because of the way that Cena won.
Mm.
So you want to make Cena a heel? You want him to be a believable heel? You have Travis Scott. Right. You have Travis Scott come out. Now, here's the thing. I could have ordered a pizza any amount of time till he came out, walked down the ramp, and got in the ring. Like, people, like, Cody was literally on the ground, and you can see Cody going,
come on.
Like at one point in time, Cody was going,
let's go.
And the ref goes over to him and goes,
yeah.
You know, it was done perfectly. I didn't like the match. The only thing I liked was the ending, because it made you hate Cena more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, he said it in his promo. I'm going to make you hate wrestling.
Hate wrestling. Right. I'm going to make you hate wrestling. I'm going to ruin wrestling.
It sounded like, too, Jude, you were there live, so it's easier to tell us from a live perspective. It sounded like the crowd was actually booing Cody a little bit at certain points in the match, and that they were more excited for Cena. Is that how it came across live?
They booed Cody.
All right.
They booed Cody at the beginning. When Cody hit the crossroads on Cena, they booed him then too.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You know, so I would love to see them turn. I would love for Cody to be part of this Heyman alliance. I just thought of it.
Mm-hmm.
Cody's got to be a heel. If anyone watched his original American Nightmare stuff when he had the dark hair instead of the blonde in New Japan, if you followed that, it was a great run for him. The heel work was amazing. He can be a great heel.
Here's my thing. I think you're going to get Cena versus, or you're going to get The Rock versus Cena.
Cody's going to be the third guy.
Yeah.
Cody's going to be the third fucking guy.
I think you're going to get Cena at the end of the year, where Cena has one more appearance left.
Mm-hmm.
I think then you find out he loses to The Rock. Everybody's going to forget about the one last appearance. And then Cena's going to come out in WrestleMania when it's Rock versus Cody and cost The Rock the championship, because he'll be the last real champion.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Because he made a point on Monday to say, I only have 27 more dates.
Yeah.
And I don't have to wrestle for him. You know, he prefaced that. I don't have to wrestle for him. I just have to show up. So 27 more dates.
SummerSlam's 2 days. This next SummerSlam. So I'm guaranteed The Rock will be one of those days.
I think he will be too, to set up something for the end of the year.
Something bigger for later on.
He's not going to wrestle, but he'll definitely be there.
He'll be there.
Which I'm game for SummerSlam, guys.
Yeah,
for sure.
I definitely want to go too. So if any of you guys are interested in coming, you know, we were talking about it last year, and we were talking about it the other day. So if anybody's looking to do SummerSlam, maybe we could do a group thing where we could all meet up, go have some fun. You know, if you guys don't got a place to stay, you know, I live just a few hours from MetLife, so people are more than welcome to come and crash out at the house, you know, and we could have a good time going to that, because I think SummerSlam, with it being 2 nights now, is going to be a real fun experience, even more than anything. Rewind, you got your hand raised there. What you got, buddy?
No, my hand. I'm just resting my hand.
Oh, okay. You just stretch. I was about to say, you don't got to raise your hand. I'm not the teacher here, so.
Yep.
But I like Cena's promo. I'll close with this right here. I liked Cena's promo on Monday, and I loved Randy Orton coming out and fucking RKOing him and setting up that match for Backlash in Randy's hometown of St. Louis. And they had to do a match between these two on Cena's last run to me, and it just had to happen because of the great feud that they have. What did you guys think of Randy coming in and you know, nailing Cena on Monday night? You guys like this next matchup for Cena going against Randy?
I like it, but there's no way Randy Orton's going to win.
No, he's not gonna.
Yeah, he's not winning. It's just a transitional match. I don't think you see Cody until Backlash. No. I think something happens to where Cena starts. I think you're going to get Cena going after Randy Orton. Rock comes out. Costs Randy Orton the match. Cody comes out, saves Randy Orton, and I think it's SummerSlam. You're going to get Cena, right? Cena Rock versus Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes.
And what about Cody turning on Orton then too? You know, there's a storyline right there with Orton and or vice versa.
So many ways you could go with this, man. Hopefully they go that route. That's what I want to see. I think Cody and Orton should be the main event for Mania next year. I do.
I would agree. I thought they could have done it this year, to be honest with you. You know, that was just my opinion. I thought they could have done it this year with it, but that's coming in the future, folks.
We don't know because of Orton's health, unfortunately, with his back, how much longer he's got. And that's one of the storylines that I want to see.
He just signed a new 5-year contract, and he had said that he wants to continue wrestling for another decade. He said,
if he stays healthy,
that's what he said. As long as his body stays healthy enough, he wants to go for another decade. I mean,
I think if they're smart with him and kind of do like a part-time thing, like they did with Lesnar,
like an attraction for him.
Yeah, just an attraction. Yeah.
That's a whole new ace in the hole that we don't know about either. Is when Lesnar's going to come back?
He's not.
No,
you don't think so?
Either.
Nope. You'll never see him again.
I think the ship has sailed. You know, I thought there might have been a chance for him to come back and screw over Punk and those guys in the match. And when that didn't happen, I just can't see them doing it anymore. I think there's too many bridges.
Do you think
burned.
It's just too? Yeah, I was going to say, is it just too sour of a subject now with this whole
Janelle
lawsuit?
I think if anything, he'll make a quick buck in AEW.
Were you shocked that Vince McMahon was brought up in the Hall of Fame?
No, I wasn't.
I wasn't either.
No.
Yeah. What were you saying, Rewind?
I heard about Brock Lesnar going to AEW. I heard a lot about that a couple of weeks ago, so we'll see what happens.
If Tony's fucking smart and he could bring
him
in,
throw a bucket of cash at him.
They're gonna have to. Brock doesn't.
Who you gonna put in the ring with Lesnar?
That's the thing.
Brian Cage.
Kill him.
He'd kill everybody there.
You'd have to do Brian Cage.
He has history with Dean Ambrose, though.
Yeah, in that awful match that they had, and Dean fucking hates his guts, and you know Moxley hates his guts in real life.
Brock Lesnar versus Hulk.
What was that last week?
Brock Lesnar versus Hulk.
You could do Kenny Omega versus Lesnar with the diverticulitis on a pole match.
Think of Brock coming in. He'd kill that entire shit faction of the Death Riders in one shot, man. He doesn't need anybody. He'd kill every one of them.
With AEW being about moments, he'd probably suit, though, for a cup of coffee because he'd come in, take the cash, and leave again.
Dude, Tony Khan would back up a Brink security truck of cash to get him over there.
And Lesnar's the type that he'd do it for any amount.
You take it, man. You throw enough money at him, he's doing it.
It's like Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash was the same way. You show him the money and he'll show up.
And you know what? Sure. I don't fucking blame people like that at all. You know,
what do you think MJF didn't go to WWE whenever his contract was up? He got that easy money in AEW.
Show me the money, baby.
Where he's at now. He's drizzling shits with the Hurt Syndicate.
Yep. Well, take advantage of it while you can, you know. Like, people knock on people, dude, they could have had better matches somewhere else. Fuck you, man. If you were getting fucking $10 million thrown at you to go somewhere or whatever type of money that they're throwing at, you're gonna go, man. Come on. We're all gluttons for money in life. We all need it to survive. And we're not getting millions thrown at any of us here. We're just some average Joes over here and just regular
You're
guys.
telling me that if you didn't secure your family's future with that kind of money, you wouldn't go over there in a heartbeat?
Absolutely.
You won't hear me cry in the other wing of my house.
Yeah, seriously.
Right.
Brock's living his best life on all the money that he's made, and he can continue to make if he wants to go somewhere, or anybody else for that matter. Brock's got his farm he likes, his butcher shop, and he's willing to cash any check he can so he can 100%. Live the rest of his life in luxury and peace in his own way. So God bless him.
One person I feel bad coming out of the weekend is Alberto El Patron. WWE bought AAA and then fired him the very next day.
They fired him?
No, it was a joke that WrestleVotes made when they put it up, Jude, because I saw that last night too.
I thought I saw something where they said they did release him.
No, it was a joke because they have some heat with him for some reason. I don't know why. So they made a joke about it online, and they said that Fightful was the one that broke the scoop. And then
that's what I heard too.
And Fightful said no, we did not. And then the guy apologized, who's behind WrestleVotes, and he said I was just fucking around, But I could see it happening. To be honest with you, yeah, I could see it happening to him.
I got a question. So they just bought out AAA. Rock had a New Japan shirt on Instagram. Do you think WWE is going to buy him out?
For New Japan?
New Japan?
I hope not.
I think they'll have a partnership much like TNA with them. I don't think they'll buy him out.
I think they just signed a partnership with somebody else over there recently too. I'm pretty sure they signed a partnership with the other major promotion.
Oh yeah, it was the other. I forget, ECLW or something like that.
There's too many of them.
Because The Rock was wearing a shirt, and there's no on his Instagram. There's no reason for that. So
that's a good
thing. The next purchase that WWE makes is going to be TNA.
Absolutely. It's coming.
Yeah, they're going to buy TNA.
And they're going to get the library too, so you'll have that.
I thought they already had.
They own the library to a certain time frame, Laza. I think it was when Anthem fully acquired them. They owned the library up until a certain point with it, and then they just don't own the stuff afterwards. So Anthem has openly said that they're willing to shop and sell that thing, for the right price.
They're not in the wrestling business.
No, they're doing fine. It's been a very good product from what I've heard. But AAA, that's a good closing thing we could talk about really quick. And this will be our last one of the night before we hop off. I think it's a great purchase for him, but I think they're going to turn into a Mexican soap opera, like you mentioned earlier. I think it was Laza that said that earlier. Was that you, Laza, that said that earlier?
Yeah.
I think they will too. I'm not going to tell you I follow AAA in any way because I don't, but I think K-Dog might be out of a job here soon. I think he's going to be rebuilding La Raza or whatever he does. The Odelay somewhere else, man, because
he'll be a full-time Keep It 100 podcaster.
Yeah, he's gonna be maybe sticking to that in the near future because they already said that Jeremy Barash is going over there to help them shore up their product, and he's going to be a big integral part of their creative over there now and what they're doing. Yeah. So you're going to see some changes.
Conan will be back to tossing his salad and peeling his potatoes.
Yeah. Well, what did they do? They're doing the Worlds Collide with NXT versus AAA. So that's going to be a fun card for wrestling fans to watch, man. Because
here's the thing, though. WWE is not going to let Vikingo do the shit that he does.
No
way. He'll kill
dude. He'll almost kill himself. He almost kills himself on a nightly basis.
Yeah. Whenever he comes off the ropes to the table on the outside of the ring, he gets so close to hitting his head.
Where he does all the somersaults and shit.
Yeah, the 450 off from the inside to the outside. He gets so close to hitting
his
head.
They're going to tell him to tone that shit up. Yeah.
Yep. Cut it off.
They'll tell him to tone it down.
Yeah.
What do you think, Rewind? You like the signing? From AAA?
Well, I mean, maybe Teddy Hart will probably come over. Yeah, he was in AAA for a while.
He'll bring his cats with him.
Boy.
He'll do 90 backflips off the top of the cage again and go into business for himself.
Right.
But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where they go with AAA and that acquisition. And boy, WWE's firing on all cylinders, guys. Man, they're making some cash and they're having fun doing it, man. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the near future.
They made some cash at that WWE World, I'll tell you that.
Oh,
they did really nice for themselves. I think we would all have a slice of that pie, right?
$1,100 for 3 packs of fucking cards in a box. Jesus Christ.
$3,500 for a title just because Cody Rhodes signed it.
Right.
Man. Well, fellas.
Alberto will be... Oh, no,
go ahead.
I was going to say Alberto will be the perfect face if AAA become a Mexican soap opera. He'll be like Ridge from Bold and Beautiful.
Jeez. I would love them to get that piece of shit on that. He's a piece of shit human being as it is. Fucking woman beater and everything. I'd love them to find a way to just get him on TV and fire his ass right on TV. I don't think there's any chance that he sticks around there. I know they didn't fire him technically yet, but I think that shit is coming real soon.
He always burns his bridges, and what's sad is he has strong heritage in his family and the Mexican.
He's got a great look too.
It's cocaine, man. Cocaine ain't cheap.
Yeah, he killed his career just by all the drugs and all the stupid shit he's done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, fellas, it's been great seeing you. I'm going to shut down the chat here in 1 second. We're going to close it out. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Jude, Rewind, Laza, everybody that showed up tonight, we had a blast. So thanks for joining us tonight, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, guys.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys next week, okay?
Yep.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. All right, everybody. I'm going to close the studio down in the back. If it gives you the boot, it's not for me. It's just because I'm going to close it down out back. But what a night, Richie. Great to be back, my friend. You have a good time tonight?
It's been humbling, man. It's good to be back. Love the show. Thanks for everybody showing out again, man. It just makes you happy to be a part of something like that. And, we got a great group of guys that hang out, talk wrestling. It's a beautiful thing that we get to be in a country that you're allowed to do this stuff and just have fun. And in the world, we got people showing up like Laza and stuff like that. It's just great, man. So I love it. It's a great experience. I missed you guys so much, and we're back, man. We're back. So
absolutely. All right, everybody. It's always a pleasure. It's been a blast. We could have gone on even longer. We'll be back next Wednesday. I think we've established Wednesday is a good night for everybody. So we will be back next Wednesday. We'll have a great topic for you. We'll have some great discussions once again. So for Richie, I'm John. We're going to sign off for the night. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us tonight. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you guys next week.